A lot of work has gone into putting this 704 outdoor face-off together, and it has been a heck of an event so far. We've already had 4 games. Last night, it was the ECU Pirates with an overtime win over the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Chris Lehman alongside Kyle Bean of Virginia Tech. We'll have Ren Grimsley alongside us of Georgia as well. Kendall Smith from the Charlotte Knights. We're going to have a great crew to bring us this game here tonight, and it is going to be a fantastic one. But Kyle, as we look at this ice, first of all, it's impressive to see the ice in the shape that it is considering how warm it has gotten, but it's going to be interesting to see how soft it is come game time.
Oh yeah, these teams, they can play pretty fast, so you got to make sure the ice is in good shape. And you're right, Chris, it's very impressive how well they've been able to keep this rink with how hot it's been this week. I mean, high temperatures into the 70s.
Oh yeah, and we're looking at potentially hitting 80 degrees before that Charlotte and App State game tomorrow night. This is a big event though, and it has continued to grow. As I mentioned, App and Charlotte have kind of been the staple matchup, but it has grown to a bigger event this year. Of course, 6 games, and tonight Virginia Tech and Georgia on this stage. The Hokies have been there before, but for both teams, this is a special moment.
Yeah, last year was so much fun for Virginia Tech. They had the bowl game here the night before, but facing off against Georgia this year, I think it's going to be a tough one for both sides.
Oh yeah, and we're starting to see fans fill in down below and around us, so we should have a pretty good atmosphere on hand in this one as well. But the weather certainly is going to be the most inescapable thing here, and ice conditions. We were down there earlier, and again, I'm impressed with the way that they've been able to get this ice rink ready and in playing condition. I think it just speaks to the technology that we have now.
It's incredible how advanced the ice technology is, and just the fact that not even having a great ice rink, but just having an ice rink at all in these conditions is incredible by itself, but having it in this good of shape, unreal.
Yeah, and of course, it creates a great stage to showcase 2 really good teams. This Virginia Tech team really, really strong last year, one of their best regular seasons. A little bit of a tougher schedule this year, but still a fairly solid 9-7-1 record. And then on the other side, the Georgia Ice Dogs, an impressive showing so far with a 10-3-3 record.
2 really tough teams. They've got their work cut out for them tonight.
Oh yeah, it should be a really fun event and one of the best matchups that we've seen so far. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll take a look at the Georgia Ice Dogs as Ren Grimsley joins us here pregame. Welcome back to Truist Field here in Uptown Charlotte as we get set for Georgia and Virginia Tech. The 5th of 6 games here at the 704 Outdoor Faceoff. Chris Lehman now joined by Georgia's Ren Grimsley. And Ren, we're going to turn our focus to the Ice Dogs, who are the visitors here in this matchup tonight. We mentioned it before the break, an impressive 10-3-3 record. And of course, we saw them up in the Raleigh area against NC State, a Division I opponent that they took to overtime. It's been a solid start to the season.
Yeah, well, the start of the season was really tough for the Ice Dogs, like you mentioned, the NC State game, and then went up to Minnesota, played their club team, and lost 2 up there. But in the past 10 games, they're on a 10-game point streak, only losing 2 games in overtime and winning the other 8. So it's been a really great past 2 months for the Ice Dogs.
Oh, yeah, and this is a game you want to come in pretty hot for. And, of course, it's a game you're going to rely on your leaders, both on the bench and on the stat sheet. Who are the Ice Dogs going to be leaning on, particularly up front, to produce tonight?
Yeah, this offense has relied on this first line for Georgia. That's Captain Evan Parente, Declan Conway, and Ryan Bailey. Those 3 guys have been phenomenal offensively. And then defensively, Truman Haugen and Bill Martin have been leading that first line on the defense.
Well, you mentioned Truman Haugen. He's got a brother, 2/3 of a triplet set. Their sister actually played volleyball at Georgia. Makes sense when you look at the roster. They're both listed at 6'4", but we're also going to see a Haugen in net.
Yes, he's been wonderful all season. He's played every game. It's been really tough on him physically, but he's doing really, really well to start the season.
Yeah, he is a big body that is going to be tough for Georgia to solve between the pipes. As you can see behind me, the light show has started as these 2 teams are just minutes away from stepping onto the ice here at Truist Field for an outdoor hockey game in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're going to step aside here one more time. When we come back, Virginia Tech consider the home team, and we're going to preview them on the other side. Hokies and Ice Dogs coming up shortly.
Hey everybody, I'm out here at our ice rink at Truist Field, but I want to remind you that this rink won't be here in just a few months. It'll be time for baseball season. The Charlotte Knights season is quickly approaching, and tickets are going on sale soon. Tickets will be on sale soon for our opening night, Friday, March 27th. The Charlotte Knights taking on the Durham Bulls, and for the rest of the season. So head over to charlotteknights.com. Stay on the lookout over there. We can't wait to welcome you all back to the ballpark.
Everyone has a community, a neighborhood, school, kids' teams, where you worship, work out, or any other place or group where you choose to belong. Communities can provide support when you need it, and even when you don't know you do. Like when it comes to preventing underage drinking and other substance use. Community members can be your eyes and ears when you're not with your kids and alert you to signs of potential problems. Learn more at talktheyhearyou.samhsa.gov.
When you look at me, you might see
a person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
you'll see
a warrior mom.
An endurance athlete.
Someone with a lot of fight.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit
is unshakable.
Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
For each life moment, your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. Your kids may be eligible now, even if you've applied before. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Get started now at insurekidsnow.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
You want to talk about blood cancer? Definitely not.
What the?
Want to talk about blood cancer? Want to talk about blood cancer? Want to talk about blood cancer? Yeah! For blood cancer to go away, a blood stem cell transplant is the way. United for patients every day. What does that mean anyway? It means new members on the registry.
Georgia Ice Dogs down on the ice now as we're closing in on puck drop between Virginia Tech and Georgia. Chris Lehman now joined again by Kyle Bean. And Kyle, now we're going to turn our focus to the team that is stepping out into the stadium as we speak, the Hokies. As we talked about beforehand, really strong season in the regular season last year, have had a tougher schedule this year, and you can kind of see it in the record.
That tougher schedule really has reflected on the team, but Coach Mullen said in hopes of being better prepared for regionals. Last year, they weren't really ready for those tougher matchups late in the year, and he wants to make sure that that doesn't happen again this season.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they match up against Georgia. These are two really strong Division I teams, but there are going to be a few players you're looking at for Virginia Tech, as we talked about with Wren, that you're going to lean on some leadership. Who are those guys for the Hokies?
You've got to look at the front line, particularly Gavin Peduzzi and Cam Kazai, two of the top point scorers in M2 last season. They combined for over 130 points. Cam Kazai's been out with injury for a little while, made it back last weekend. So you've got to lean on your two stars.
Well, they're just about set to sing the national anthem here at Truist Field. We'll take one more break and come back for puck drop between Virginia Tech and Georgia here in Charlotte. Well, the two teams announced, the national anthem has been sung, and we're ready to play some hockey here in Uptown Charlotte. Chris Lehman alongside Kyle Bean will also have Kendall Smith down rinkside during this period as well. And we'll be joined a little later on as well by Ren Grimsley throughout the evening. Should be a fantastic game between Virginia Tech and Georgia. And Kyle, this is going to be, I think, two of the best teams in the Southeast, at least from a Division II standpoint.
It does seem like this game could really go either way. It just depends on how each side is playing and how well they can game plan for this matchup.
Yeah, and the Hokies will come out in their orange uniforms, as you see there, with the maroon trim. In period number 1, they will be attacking the goal. To your left on the screen, the Georgia Ice Dogs with some special outdoor uniforms and that kind of football style. They really look a lot like the football team tonight. They will move from left to right across your screen in period number 1. But one of the really interesting matchups to me is going to be how well the Hokies are able to make the goaltender in Haugen move, because as we talked about in the pregame, he is a big body, listed on the roster at 6'4", 180 pounds.
Virginia Tech is a team that really likes to run. They work in transition well. They're going to look to dominate in the offensive zone and rack up the shots.
And the other thing, I was listening to the Gobbler Effect that you guys recorded a couple of days ago, and one of the things that I think is going to be a key as well for Virginia Tech in this game that Coach talked about is discipline and special teams. Special teams, as that has gone, so has the team. And this is a game where it can get emotional, and if you end up on the wrong side of the sheet on the penalty side, or in that penalty category, could be a big difference. Virginia Tech controls off the faceoff as we get things rolling here in Charlotte. Chip deep. The Ice Dogs first to it down below the goal line. Cleared up the wall. It'll be held in by Max Sullivan and shot back around. Swept along by Bill Martin, but not out. Slap shot from the blue line right into the gut of Haugen, and he will hold on for a faceoff about 30 seconds in.
The Hokies early on getting a solid set in the O zone. They're going to want to keep that going tonight. Keep Georgia in defense.
Yeah, we've seen that, and we saw it last night. Two teams that really relied on their forecheck to generate, and Georgia Tech and ECU. And the team that executed the forecheck the best ended up winning that game, the Pirates, in overtime. In that near corner, Ethan Garlock. Looking cross ice, that one will escape the zone, and the Hokies will reset. Brian Rice under a little bit of pressure. It'll be shot back deep by Bailey of Georgia. This top line of the Dogs out there. Stretch pass forward for Garlick down the right wing. Throws one off the glove of Haugen. And a little bit of a collision in front of the net will knock the net off its moorings, and a little bit of extra pushing and shoving afterwards. It looks like Cam Kazai getting tangled up with the defenseman for Georgia. I believe that was Bill Martin.
The Hokies have gotten tangled up with some guys quite a bit, especially looking back to last weekend against Penn State. A game absolutely riled up with penalties. So many, a game misconduct. It felt like the sin bin was just a revolving door.
No penalties will come out of that little skirmish. We'll keep an eye on the temperature of this game as things move along. Another offensive zone draw for Virginia Tech. Just over a minute gone in this period. Hokies able to get the first touch on it. Jackson DeVivo plays it around the wall, but it's the Ice Dogs who clear it out. They've not been able to possess into the neutral zone. They'll retreat again as Graham Baird tries to set up the breakout from behind. Up that near wall, it'll be touched along and moved forward. Pass finds Spencer Watson, but he loses control, and Georgia is offsides.
The Ice Dogs have just got to pull things together a little bit, get some control. I think if they get across the blue line, they'll be in much better shape, be able to set something up.
And a chance to control off the faceoff, and that's one thing Virginia Tech has done really well so far, is win those faceoffs. Up at the blue line, board battle won by the Dogs. Chipped back in by Zach Knoll. Cleared back out again by that Virginia Tech defense. D-to-D pass almost got stolen away. Baird plays it up that far wall. Rink-wide pass misses everyone. And the first one taking it off the wall is Jackson Lagas. Here come the Hokies in tight. Saved by Haugen. Loose there for a moment, but he gets to the rebound and covers up. And the Hokies continue to get the lion's share of the chances here in the first couple minutes.
Haugen's going to be a tough body in the goal tonight. A dominant save percentage at .912.
It's a solid save percentage, particularly at this level. Got to see him earlier this season against NC State. He was a big reason why the Ice Dogs were able to force NC State into overtime before things finished up. And of course, that 10-3 record speaks for itself. And as Ren mentioned earlier, they're on a 10-game point streak as well. Ice Dogs breaking out. That pass intercepted in the neutral zone and reversed back the other way. Shot wristed over top and into the glass. Good effort there at the defense by Virginia Tech. Hokies back in control, spinning backhand, twirled in front. And it'll be held onto by Haugen. Matthew Tulo on that try. It was Theo Lanigan with the play there in front and the interception. Good eyes from the defenseman.
Great eyes from Lanigan, and the Hokies so far controlling the puck for a majority of this game early through. Georgia's really going to need to change that soon.
And the big thing now is they're going to have to solve the breakout. Another face-off won by Virginia Tech. Kazai lost an edge, still got the puck to the middle, but nobody there with an orange jersey as players collide in front of the Georgia bench. Jake Green in there for the Ice Dogs. We're already seeing, I mentioned the emotions just before puck drop. We're already seeing a little bit of that.
Such a big game for both sides. It doesn't get any more exciting than this unless maybe you look ahead into the playoffs. But you get to play an outdoor game in a baseball stadium. Is there anything more fun in collegiate hockey?
There probably aren't many things, if any. I would agree with you there for sure. Face off on top of the Georgia blue line. And once again, Virginia Tech comes away with it. I'm not sure that they've lost a face-off yet here in the first few minutes. That's a big reason why they've been able to dictate play. Big hit at the blue line as the puck was dumped in by Murphy McLeod. He's back on his feet. He'll chase down the clearance from the Ice Dogs. It's in on goal. So the Hokies will be forced to play it. No icing. First clearance from McLeod is off the official. The second attempt gets out into neutral ice before Georgia shoots it back in. Another heavy collision in that far corner. Starting to see Georgia get set up in the offensive end, but the Hokies force it out up that far wall. Down the right wing now. Centering pass. Austin Hearn misses his target. Off the wall, a one-timer hits the side of the goal. Kazai back in possession. He's tied up behind the goal and wrestled down. Play will carry on as they continue to push and shove in that corner. Another shot from the goal line. Fought off by the shoulder of Haugen. Still loose there along the goal line. And again, it's the Hokies with possession.
Georgia playing such an aggressive game early on. I wonder how that could hurt the Hokies' speed.
Now, it'll be interesting to see how the physicality plays into it. Right now, Virginia Tech all over the Ice Dogs. Shot from the blue line. Wristed just wide off the stick of Max Sullivan. But again, Hokies able to get to the loose puck. Backhanded in front into that near circle, and it just slipped under the stick of Valiant. And the Hokies going to have to track down the puck now. Georgia with a chance to set up the breakout. Truman Haugen looking for some time and space. Just doesn't have much of it right now. The Virginia Tech forecheck, particularly in the neutral zone, they have really slowed things down. Haugen under pressure, finds a man up along his own bench. It'll be played across ice for Evan Parente. Shot in deep. Ice Dogs in on the forecheck. Collision behind the goal jars the puck loose. But it's Virginia Tech still coming away with it. Here's Marshall Campbell through the neutral zone. Crosses over the blue line on the right wing. Gliding in, he'll play it off the wall behind and around. It's all the way up to the blue line where it can be shot in and deflected wide. Ewan Andrew wins the battle along the corner. Throws it off a body and into the far side corner now. It'll be steered in front. Hit his skate, still loose there. Hokies have it, and the one-timer from Stewart is wide. Collected now by Parente, and Georgia will try again to move forward. Up the near side at the blue line, it'll be swept into the middle. Declan Conway. He's got back control again. Top line for the Dogs out there. Conway shielding the puck, plays one through the slot, doesn't have anybody there, and now Virginia Tech back on the rush. Could have a chance in tight. First pass is denied, but the second attempt from Austin Hearn ends up over top of the goal, and the Ice Dogs will sweep it up and eventually out of the zone.
That transition defense is going to be so crucial for the Ice Dogs. With the Hokies being a little bit of a faster team, you've got to make sure you can deflect those passes away to eliminate those shot opportunities.
They have done a good job of keeping Virginia Tech mostly to the exterior. Here's a chance in tight, though, as Hearn tried to force his way into the blue paint, unable to get the shot away, and now Georgia alleviates some pressure with a clearance. Shots are only 2-1 in favor of Virginia Tech right now. We're 6 minutes into this contest. I think, again, that speaks to at least Georgia's defensive prowess in their own zone so far tonight. Now they've got a chance to advance down the right wing. Pass into the high slot intended for Watson, can't connect, and Virginia Tech quickly back up ice. Lots of speed for Kazai. Backhand pass to the middle, and Peduzzi couldn't get to it. Georgia will pool cue it out of the zone before it's shot right back in by Gavin Peduzzi. And again, the Ice Dogs will reset. Ryan Miller looking to the middle. Held in once more by Peduzzi. Down low, Garlock. He gets tied up in the corner with Tyler Stewart of Georgia. Kazai comes away with it, looks across to the top of the near circle. Wrist shot there, hits a stick and deflects wide. And now the loose puck is in the hands of the Georgia Ice Dogs. Evan Moore through neutral ice. Has a pass deflected back to him, throws it into the middle. It's deflected across to the far side and out. But Georgia will take this opportunity to get a change.
The Ice Dogs have done a solid job at keeping the Hokies pinned up against the boards and limiting the shots, but so far they just haven't had much of a presence on offense.
Pass to the slot, ends up deflected wide. They have a chance here. The shot from the blue line deflects out of the zone. Now it's a foot race for it. First one there for the Ice Dogs is Bill Martin. And now Georgia can once again try to move forward. Spencer Watson stopped up at the Tech blue line. Hokies able to play it back into neutral ice, but pickpocketing his man is Dylan Punzenberger. Cross ice pass just missed Jordan Sirota, who gets back to it and plays it down deep. Swept along by Kerrigan. He gets it back behind the cage. Throws it out in front, and it goes right past Forrest. It was between the pipes for the Hokies, and now Virginia Tech can skate it forward. You can see the speed difference for the Hokies. Awkward carom off the defenseman in Martin there. Almost ended up in the net for DeVivo, but Haugen up to the task at the blue line. It'll be brought in by Georgia, deflected through the slot, and Tucker Forrest able to seal down low and make that save. But we're starting to see the ice tip in favor of Georgia. Slapper from the point, blocked down and controlled by Stewart. He's going to skate it forward, throws it off the pad of Haugen. Rebound is deflected into the corner where Georgia can control. Behind the net, it's knocked loose again. And once again, the Ice Dogs get to it. It's Punzenberger trying to lift it out of the zone, but it'll be gloved down by Campbell. He's knocked down as he lost the puck. Georgia takes over. The Hokie fans here were hoping for a penalty that they don't get. We've seen some really solid play so far. Both teams have looked crisp, but defensively they have been really, really sound in their own end, particularly Georgia, although here's a chance now for the Hokies. Pass back to the middle, and we're going to get another stoppage, as I believe that was Nate Haley went sliding into his own net.
At some point, one of the defenses is going to break down, or if we do get a penalty, I think that could be a real game changer for either side, getting a man advantage.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're almost halfway through this first period. Another offensive zone draw for Virginia Tech. They'll scrum for it as the puck slides into that near corner. The Hokies come away with it. And they'll set up once again on the offensive end of the ice. Hearn back up to the blue line. Shot is swallowed up by Haugen. And as we close in on the halfway point, we've been talking about the neutral zone and Virginia Tech's control of it for the most part. And we've got Kendall Smith down ice level. And Kendall, I think I see you down there in the penalty box. You've had a front row seat to the neutral zone.
Yeah, I have, and guys, John Camp emphasized how important controlling the neutral zone will be tonight for Georgia, especially against a Virginia Tech team he believes can really push the pace through that area. Camp told us they want to limit Virginia Tech's breakout opportunities, and while we often see Georgia in a 1-2-2 forecheck, they're willing to switch into more of a 1-1-3 look to restrict zone entries and slow down that Virginia Tech speed. So keep an eye on that here tonight. Georgia isn't afraid to adjust their usual forecheck to counter what Virginia Tech gives them.
We'll see if they can get a little bit more zone time and a chance to set that forecheck up. They're going to work here down the left wing. It's Ryan Bailey. He's pestered all the way down behind the goal. They get tied up there, and the puck's cleared up the near wall. Held in at the Georgia defense, though, as Virginia Tech takes back over in the high slot. Breakout pass intercepted. Bailey back in with Conway down the left wing. It'll be knocked loose and cleared around the wall by Trevor Kellogg, but not out. Second effort clears it the length of the ice. This one is not going to have enough for icing. It was so close. Ryan Miller really tried to stretch it out, but the Georgia defenseman couldn't get the call. Ice Dogs back to work the other way. Evan Parente looking across. Bailey knocked off the puck. It's tied up in skates. Hokies have it in the slot. They'll move back up ice. Down that far side, or down that left-hand side, they come in offsides. Jackson DeVivo, the puck carrier. And the faceoff comes out into neutral ice again. Shots now 6-3 in favor of Virginia Tech. Oh,
the Ice Dogs have been able to even it out a little bit and had a couple solid offensive sets over the last couple of minutes.
Walking in off that faceoff, and a great play from behind by the Georgia defenseman to tie that up and end that opportunity. Actually, it was a forward and Tyler Stewart who made that play. Back to work, Virginia Tech. Heavy hit in that corner, knocks the puck loose, and Georgia comes away with it. That was a healthy hit from Spencer Watson as the Ice Dogs clear the zone. And neutral ice right along the red line, it's Zach Knoll. Drop back to Stewart, he'll play it cross ice, and then it's moved back for Knoll again, who touches it into the zone. He gets knocked off the puck. A nice hit by Sullivan there. Virginia Tech unable to break out. Puck knocked down, and we'll get a whistle. That was a hand pass as Knoll knocked it down with his glove. And another stoppage. 8.5 now left in the period. And this has really been a defensive battle because neither team, we've seen a couple of chances. I'm not even sure we've seen a really good chance with a shot in the low slot yet, Kyle. It's been all shots, mostly from the outside. We've seen more for Virginia Tech than Georgia. They've been able to penetrate a couple times, but the Ice Dogs aren't letting them get into the middle of the ice with the puck very often.
Good passes, good cuts into the slot, but you're right, Chris. Both defenses just deflecting everything away. They're not landing the passes to take the shot. There's not much you can do.
Well, we're waiting for somebody to finally break through. Slapped in on Forrest by Truman Haugen. Virginia Tech, though, can move it right back up and out. Campbell shielding a man off. Plays it cross ice for Stewart. He'll throw one in. Might have got deflected on the way through by Ewan Andrew. And 12 minutes in, the Hokies are on the board.
Virginia Tech has kept throwing shots at the goal, and Andrew with the beautiful tip into the top corner finally gets it done for the Hokies.
Kind of felt like a matter of time with how much time Virginia Tech was spending in the offensive zone. And an excellent deflection there from Ewan Andrew. I think that might have been a shot for a deflection as he deflected it up and over for Haugen. Maybe retroactively you're thinking there, get the poke check out a little bit earlier, but as a goaltender, there's not a whole lot you can do with that. And Virginia Tech now has an early lead.
Right place, right time, right play.
We talked about connecting passes into that low slot area. That was a connection, and it ends up in the back of the net.
That might have been the only connection into the slot we've seen tonight.
Virginia Tech back in control behind their own goal. Murphy McLeod advances it. Shot off a stick. That was Graham Baird in the way of the shot. And we'll get a stoppage as it's deflected out into right field here at Truist. Shots now 8-3 in favor of Virginia Tech. But for Georgia, again, the story is just finding a way to get into the offensive end. Those 3 shots really came on just a couple of rushes up the ice where they were able to establish themselves. But the breakout for Virginia Tech, or rather maybe their forecheck, has been much more efficient than Georgia's so far. And the Ice Dogs, it might be a matter of getting through this period and limiting the damage. Shot from the point through traffic, misses wide. But they're going to have to make some first intermission adjustments to try and tip the ice a little bit more back in their favor. Pass stretched out all the way down. Haugen going to play it. He'll set it up for Larson to sweep up the far wall. Pinching in at the blue line, Max Sullivan plays it back around. Garlock first to it for the Hokies. They'll feed it down low. Swept out in front. It deflects off a skate. And now the Ice Dogs have some speed out of the zone. Parente trying to step through a defenseman. He's going to be tangled up. We have a penalty coming up. And I believe this is going to go on Virginia Tech. Looks like number 7, Jackson Lagas. We'll wait for the signal from the official. I would imagine this is going to be interference.
Lagas, one of the players for the Hokies that dominated in his freshman season last year, put up over 30 points, won the ACHA Defensive Player of the Year as well.
They're actually going to take both. Parente is going to be in the box as well. So we're going to play some 4-on-4 hockey. I did see the signal, the penalty on Lagas was interference. There was a little extra, I think, contact from Parente, partially trying to draw attention to the penalty, and he unfortunately is going to get called as well for a minor. And we've got some extra space here on the ice for 2 minutes.
This might benefit the Hokies with their additional speed, having that extra space to move.
The Hokies able to win the defensive zone draw and set up in the offensive end. Shot from the blue line off the glove of Haugen. He'll swallow up the rebound. With 6:10 to go, 25 seconds of 4-on-4 time already expired. And this might be the opportunity for Georgia. I think the biggest issue, and to me, hockey just kind of in general is a game of space and finding the space. Georgia has not been able to find that in the neutral zone in particular, and I do wonder if less bodies on the ice will help them a little bit, as it's pool cued out of the zone by Charlie Kerrigan. Doesn't win the race to the puck, though, and Virginia Tech is back the other way. Stepping around his defenseman, Cam Kazai, into the corner. He'll be bodied up, absorbs that check, plays it out in front. It's tangled up in the skates of Ryan Miller, and the Ice Dogs defenseman able to skate it out of danger. His breakout pass, though, disrupted by Kazai. Paduzzi there on the follow-up shovels it back into the Georgia zone. And the Dogs will try again. Speed up the left wing. Heavy hit there along the wall by Lanigan as he stopped up Sirota. Hokies back in possession of it. They've got space now up ice. This is Austin Hearn. Dropped off, looking for the feed back from Sullivan. Couldn't connect, but it's Sullivan in that near corner now. He'll play it into the middle, bouncing puck, and now couldn't settle it, but he's back to it below the goal line. He'll skate it up and hand it off along that half wall. Too many Georgia jerseys there, though, and the Ice Dogs will move it back out. They need some fresh legs, though. And it's going to be up to Sirota, pardon me, to kill some clock. Has some reinforcements, and it'll be cleared out by Virginia Tech. Haugen, they came out to play it, might have negated icing there. As Virginia Tech dodged a dangerous chance there. Another big hit at the blue line, this time laid by Georgia's Spencer Watson. And Georgia back in control of the puck, but the Ice Dogs definitely dominating the physicality category. Shot off the glove of Forrest and wide. Chance there from Wyatt McAvoy, who has it again at his own blue line. Pardon me, that's Haugen, who will receive a return pass from his defensive partner. Pass into the middle. Pinballs around. Eventually Parente comes away with it. He'll skate down the right side, circling behind. Played in front off the stick of Forrest. And Virginia Tech will clear it out of the zone. Graham Baird playing catch with his defensive partner Larson. Back across now, Conway at his own blue line. Looks to the middle of the ice. That pass intercepted by Valiant. And the Hokies coming in. It's a delayed offside call. They're going to have to check up. It'll give Georgia a little bit of space. We are back to 5-on-5 hockey as Parente and Lanigan are both, or pardon me, Lagas are both out of the box. But this game is kind of, that 4-on-4 almost kind of quieted the game down, Kyle.
It has. It's been a lot of back and forth from both sides, and neither one has really dominated possession over the last couple of minutes.
And they score. Out in front, it's stuffed through Haugen by Marshall Campbell, and Virginia Tech doubles their lead.
The Hokies doing the dirty work in front of the net, just being there for the rebounds from Haugen. That's been the difference maker in this game.
We'll get another look at it here. The Hokies able to find a man open in front. And that's one of the fundamentals that they try and really hammer home, coaches, particularly at a younger age. The thing there that Campbell does is he gets to the front of the net and he stops. Everybody from Georgia kept gliding below the goal line. It left Campbell all alone, and if you're Haugen in net, there's not a whole lot you can do with a play like that.
The Hokies love to post one of their larger players right there in front of the crease. A lot of times you'll see Ethan Garlock doing the same.
Ewan Andrew and Zach Stewart, the two assists on that play. And Virginia Tech, a very strong first 17-plus minutes now. Out shooting Georgia 10-4, and they've been rewarded with a 2-0 lead. Ice Dogs back in down the left wing, floated on goal, and it'll be swallowed up by Tucker Forrest with 2.5 minutes to play.
Quite a particularly strong game so far from Ewan Andrew and Marshall Campbell. 6 points combined before tonight this season, and tonight they've got 4.
Yeah, a goal and an assist for Andrew, and of course 2 assists for Stewart. Been a heck of a start for Virginia Tech, and they're going to work again. Peduzzi's shot knocks the stick out of the hand of Haugen. His defenseman able to swat it back to him. Right as a puck comes in on goal, and he fights that shot off. A bouncer right out in front. Zai trying to steer it in front of the goal. That's deflected back to the corner for Garlock. He steps through 3 Ice Dogs, but loses the puck in the process, and it'll be cleared out by Charlie Kerrigan. Up the right wing for Punzenberger, who shovels it down into the Virginia Tech end with 1:52 to go in this first period. Stretch pass out of the reach of Garlock, but it's not going to be strong enough for icing. And the Hokies can get in on the forecheck in that far corner. Loose puck taken away by DeVivo of Virginia Tech. He's dispossessed behind the goal, and it's Graham Baird skating it up. Headmans for Punzenberger, back to Baird, backhand pass in the middle, a floater swatted at, and the Dogs couldn't direct it on goal. Valiant now in control for Virginia Tech. He's looking for some time and space in his own end.
Scary one for Tucker Forrest. When that puck gets up and vertical, it's so tough to see with the mask.
There's been a lot of kind of close but not quite so far for the for the Ice Dogs, as we get a stoppage in the Georgia end. Another offensive zone draw for Virginia Tech. It'll be another glove side of Haugen. Just 1:10 left in this period. Georgia would love just to create some momentum going into the break, because this Virginia Tech team has really kind of suffocated them in their own end. Behind the net, walked them, throws it around in front. Just getting a glove to it was Haugen. Virginia Tech continuing to hem the Ice Dogs into their own end. Backhander bounced out in front, and it'll be melted down by the goaltender Haugen. 45.7 on that first period clock.
Virginia Tech has really played exactly into their game plan here tonight. They wanted to have that strong offensive presence. They wanted to dominate possession, force Georgia to play defense, and so far that's really been the case.
That's the kind of thing that'll wear your team down if you spend a lot of time, as Georgia's had to in this first period, kind of chasing the puck around their own end. They've done, as we've said, a pretty good job of keeping Virginia Tech out of the middle, saved a couple of goals they've given up, but that's why you just can't give that middle of the ice away, especially against a team like Virginia Tech. As we talked about, tougher schedule, not quite the same impressive record as last year, but you still have the same guys out on the ice making the similar plays. Georgia will ice the puck with 24.8 left in the first. Chance here for Virginia Tech maybe to create one last opportunity before the period's end.
They've really loved this glove side of Haugen so far tonight. Both goals coming from that side of the ice.
And another thing that we hit on earlier on in the period, but has really continued through most of it, is their performance in the faceoff circle. They have won the majority of them. One here, Kazai stepping in front, dances into the middle, and he slides it wide of that near post. It'll be shoveled up the wall, but held in by Jackson Lagas of Virginia Tech. Hokies with pressure along that near wall. It'll be cleared back out one last time, but a miscue, and one final chance here for Georgia. At the end, they score! A miscue, and with 3 seconds to go, the Ice Dogs have life in the first period.
What a momentum shifter for Georgia. You put one in the back of the net right at the end of the period. This could really carry them into a strong second.
And I believe that was Evan Moore on the finish. It was just a miscue at the Virginia Tech blue line. We talked a little bit about ice conditions, and they have been very good so far this weekend, but when it's a little bit warmer, especially at the very end of a period, when you have kind of choppier ice, it's a little bit tougher to control the puck. And what had been a fantastic period for Virginia Tech, and still is a good period, now you've got a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth as you get a look at the turnover by Jackson Lagas.
Those small mistakes are going to be so crucial in this game. The Hokies have struggled a little bit to get it past Haugen with how many shots they've taken, and those small mistakes are going to come up so big, as we saw right there with Moore's goal.
Kendall Smith now down at center ice. She's got head coach of Virginia Tech, Joey Mullen. Kendall, we'll throw it down to you.
Well, Coach, Georgia scores with 3 seconds left in the period. How can your group regain the momentum it had for the majority of the first 20?
I just think it's a bad play on the blue line. It's a good play by them, so you just got to regroup, come back out ready for the second period.
2 goals for your team in the first 20, both the result of a really strong net front presence. How pleased are you with the compete of your group around the crease so far?
I mean, it's been great, and when your fourth line has 2 goals in the first period, it's always a positive, so get the other boys rolling and hopefully put up 3 or 4 this period.
Really impressed to see the way your group has been skating the puck through the neutral zone. How much of an impact do you think that will continue to have on the rest of tonight's game?
I mean, we've really rolled lines quickly, 30, 40 seconds and off, so hopefully the plan is it's hot out tonight, keep them quick, wear them out, and have fun in third.
You said you were going to wear shorts out here tonight because it was so hot, no?
I mean, I've got them on underneath. We might get there. We'll see how bad it gets the rest of the way.
All right, Coach, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Kendall. Well, it was all about Virginia Tech for the first 19 minutes and 57 seconds of the period. They had a 2-0 lead, but Evan Moore comes through off the turnover and cuts that lead in half. After 20 minutes, Virginia Tech with a 2-1 lead. We'll be back at the first intermission. Well, it was an entertaining first 20 minutes, right down to the final 3 seconds. 2-1 Virginia Tech after 20 minutes. Chris Lehman alongside Ren Grimsley here at Truist Field in Uptown Charlotte. And Ren, was a heck of a period. As I talked about with Kyle at the end of the period, Virginia Tech really dictated play for most of that period, but you only need one opportunity to put one in the back of the net, and we saw that with Georgia at the end of the period.
Yeah, Virginia Tech had control of pretty much that entire period, a majority of the time in their offensive zone, and their 2 goals came when Georgia left nobody in the crease to play any defense. So most of the Virginia Tech for that period, but like you said, Evan Moore coming in clutch there with 3 seconds to go.
Absolutely. The shot totals, of course, heavily in favor of Virginia Tech right now. They've got Georgia more than doubled up, 13-6 after 20 minutes. So you can't forget about the goaltender in net and Haugen. He's stood tall. There's not a lot he can do about the 2 goals that he did give up.
And that shot total is merely a reflection of the dominance that Virginia Tech had in that first period. But like you said, Isaac Haugen has had to come up huge a few times, as well as his brother Truman, who stood in that crease and taken a few shots himself. So overall, it's been Georgia defense who's really had to step up a lot. We'll see what they do in the second.
Yeah, and they're going to have to figure out how to deal with the Hokies, particularly in the neutral zone. As we talked about, they struggle to get through there, but a lot of that is due to the skill of this Virginia Tech team. A lot of what we saw was sticks getting in passing lanes and knocking away pucks.
Yeah, as well as their speed. They really have outsped Georgia in this. The physicality from Georgia has been one of the things keeping them in this, but that Virginia Tech speed has really shown today.
Absolutely. I think if you're Virginia Tech, you have to have a short memory and forget about that goal that you gave up, because they have dictated so much of the play in this game so far. But if you're Georgia, there's some things to hang your hat on. Obviously the goal, and they did have a couple of stretches where they were able to get into the zone.
Yeah, they definitely did, and I think their back check was one of the strongest things they had. If it wasn't for Bill Martin playing well, skating backwards, I think this score would be a lot higher for Tech.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to look at the highlights. We've got 3 goals and plenty to look at, as Kyle Bean will join me on the other side. But right now, at the first intermission, it's Virginia Tech 2, Georgia 1.
Hey everybody, I'm out here at our ice rink at Truist Field, but I want to remind you that this rink won't be here in just a few months. It'll be time for baseball season. The Charlotte Knights season is quickly approaching, and tickets are going on sale soon. Tickets will be on sale soon for our opening night, Friday, March 27th. The Charlotte Knights taking on the Durham Bulls, and for the rest of the season. So head over to charlotteknights.com. Stay on the lookout over there. We can't wait to welcome you all back to the ballpark.
Everyone has a community, a neighborhood, school, kids' teams, where you worship, work out, or any other place or group where you choose to belong. Communities can provide support when you need it, and even when you don't know you do. Like when it comes to preventing underage drinking and other substance use. Community members can be your eyes and ears when you're not with your kids and alert you to signs of potential problems. Learn more at talktheyhearyu.samhsa.gov.
When you look at me, you might see
a person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
You'll see
A warrior mom.
an endurance athlete.
someone with a lot of fight.
every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit
is unshakable.
Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
For each life moment, your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. Your kids may be eligible now, even if you've applied before. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Get started now at insurekidsnow.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
You want to talk about blood cancer? Definitely not.
What the? Want to talk about blood cancer? Want to talk about blood cancer? Want to talk about blood cancer? Yeah! For blood cancer to go away, a blood stem cell transplant is the way. Uniting for patients every day. What does that mean anyway? It means new members on the registry.
Welcome back here to Truist Field in Uptown Charlotte. Chris Lehman now joined by Kyle Bean as we take a look at the highlights from period number 1. And we've got 3 goals to take a look at here. And Kyle, for Virginia Tech, they were the ones who got on the board first and were able to take advantage of some empty space in front.
Looking right in front of the net, I mean, you go back to this first goal, just sends it over from across the boards, slams it up and in. You can't ask for much more from the Hokies right in front of the net.
Then it's Campbell, as I talked about on the broadcast, gets to the front of the net and stops Georgia's defenseman Dolt, and he puts it home and gives Virginia Tech a 2-0 lead. But then you can't give up on the end of a period, and Georgia makes Virginia Tech pay.
Such a costly turnover there right at the blue line. A beautiful move from Moore just to get to the left side of Tucker Forrest.
Absolutely, and we get another look at it here. That's one thing to keep an eye on. Of course, we've talked plenty about ice conditions, but it's going to continue to be a storyline. You can only do so much when it's almost 70 degrees. The low temperature tonight, which will probably be around 2 or 3 in the morning, is 60 degrees in Charlotte. So with warm temperatures down at ice level, the ice is going to get a little bit choppy, and so you got to be careful at the end of periods like that.
Might be the only hockey game you probably wish you had shorts on for. We heard from Coach Mullen right at the end of the period, and he said he might bring them out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because, as I talked about there, temperatures not going to get a whole lot lower than they are right now, and that's going to play an impact, particularly at the ends of periods, and these two teams are going to have to be careful. But I think the other thing to look at in this game is the goaltending. Both goaltenders have been solid.
Yeah, they have Haugen, just an absolute brick wall in front of the net. He's so big, it's tough to get anything around him, and Tucker Forrest, highly skilled as well. It's been tough for both sides to just get anything through.
Absolutely. Well, we are closing in on the start of the second period. I'm going to hand the mic off to Ren Grimsley when we come back as he and Kyle take a look ahead at period number 2. Right now, it's 2-1 Hokies after 20 minutes.
Welcome back into Truist Field. Kyle Bean here with Ren Grimsley. And Ren, the Hokies dominating the first few minutes of possession here at this game.
Yeah, definitely. They had all the offensive zone time, really applying pressure to this Georgia D and to Isaac Haugen, eventually netting 2 in just from the sheer amount of shots they had, almost doubling Georgia's shot total.
And the Hokies having returned this season for the outdoor game. They were here in Charlotte just last year, played against North Carolina last season, potentially having a little bit of an edge there.
Yeah, you might think that could be a factor in this, as Georgia not used to playing outdoor games, and Virginia Tech, like you mentioned, played here last year. Also about an hour more travel for Georgia, maybe a little bit of bus legs there, but that's pretty much not a factor after 20 minutes of playing.
Yeah, a lot of different factors here contributing to this game, but Georgia able to add one right there at the end of the period, just 3 seconds remaining, potentially a momentum shifter as we head into the second.
Definitely, what seemed like a full period of Virginia Tech, getting that goal by Evan Moore can just do so much for your offense, bring so much confidence to your team, and we're going to see how that transitions into the second.
It could be a big one, or will the Hokies pull it back together and put a few more in the back of the net? Now, I'll have the call with Ren here for the second period. Join us back after the rest of the first intermission here in just a few minutes.
Hey everybody, I'm out here at our ice rink at Truist Field, but I want to remind you that this rink won't be here in just a few months. It'll be time for baseball season. The Charlotte Knights season is quickly approaching, and tickets are going on sale soon. Tickets will be on sale soon for our opening night, Friday, March 27th. The Charlotte Knights taking on the Durham Bulls, and for the rest of the season. So head over to charlotteknights.com. Stay on the lookout over there. We can't wait to welcome you all back to the ballpark.
Everyone has a community, a neighborhood, school, kids' teams, where you worship, work out, or any other place or group where you choose to belong. Communities can provide support when you need it, and even when you don't know you do. Like when it comes to preventing underage drinking and other substance use, community members can be your eyes and ears when you're not with your kids and alert you to signs of potential problems. Learn more at talktheyhearyou.samhsa.gov.
When you look at me, you might see.
A person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
You'll see
A warrior mom.
An endurance athlete.
someone with a lot of fight.
every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit
Is
unshakable.
Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
For each life moment, your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. Your kids may be eligible now, even if you've applied before. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Get started now at insurekidsnow.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
You want to talk about blood cancer? Definitely not. What the?
For blood cancer to go away, a blood stem cell transplant is the way. Uniting for patients every day. What does that mean anyway? It means new members on the registry. And it's the matching donors to patients with blood disease. T's for doctors making discoveries. P is for patients living cancer-free.
Welcome back into Truist Field, home of the Charlotte Knights, but tonight it's the Virginia Tech Hokies and the University of Georgia Ice Dogs. Hokies leading 2-1 after the first period. Goals from Ewan Andrew and Marshall Campbell, but the Ice Dogs able to put one in with just 3 seconds left on the clock, thanks to number 18, Evan Moore. I'm Kyle Bean, joined alongside Ren Grimsley, and we're in for a great second period, aren't we?
Absolutely. I'm excited to see how both these teams come out. after a rocky start for Georgia, but like we mentioned, getting one there at the end, we'll see what that does for them momentum-wise coming into the second, and we'll see if Virginia Tech can let that go, get it off their shoulder, and continue the dominance they saw for the first majority of that first period.
One thing we talked about a little bit earlier in the game was Virginia Tech's speed against the physicality of the Ice Dogs and how those two would match up. So far, I think the speed has gotten a little bit of the best of the Georgia Ice Dogs, but their physicality has definitely been a big game changer. And then that one miscue there right at the end of the period, getting things a little bit closer to evened up.
By far the most physical game that the Ice Dogs have had in their season this season, and the speed, like you mentioned, from Virginia Tech. They've had a lot of transition opportunities. They can capitalize on a few more of those. They can get a lot of goals that way.
Georgia, such a big team. They've got player after player over the 6-foot mark, including a pair of starting defensemen. I mean, Truman Haugen standing at 6'3".
He's incredibly tall, not on skates, and you add a few inches with the skates, and he's just an absolute monster on the ice.
We're about ready here for the second period. Opening draw set up at center ice. Hokies leading 2-1, and we're off. Georgia recollecting in their zone, back behind the net. They'll skate it out up the side, working across the blue line into center ice, transitioning quickly. The Ice Dogs with an opportunity there, but just poked away. Now along the side, it's Declan Conway, 24 points this season. The Ice Dogs back behind their own net. They work it up top and dump it back down low. Georgia with a great start here to this period, about 30 seconds in, but we'll get a whistle as the net comes off the moorings. Tucker Forrest just pushed it off with the left foot.
Ryan Bailey just whiffing on a one-timer that he had right there. And some of the things that have plagued Georgia all season came back to bite them in that first period, not being able to keep the puck in their offensive zone. As soon as they get it, it immediately escapes the blue line. So far, the first 30 seconds here, it's been all in their offensive zone.
The Hokies have dominated draws here so far. They do so once again. When you think about game changers for the Ice Dogs, you've got to look at Ryan Bailey, 29 points this season, 15 goals, 14 assists. One of the leaders in the division in terms of points, goals, and assists, individually and collectively.
He's the man to look to if you're an Ice Dog wanting to get a goal. Been so well all season. So far, nothing in this game.
Virginia Tech will set up the push behind their own net. They give it off to Lagas, but it's quickly taken away by the Ice Dogs. A couple of shot opportunities as Tucker Forrest is sprawling in front of his own net. The Ice Dogs recollect, but just let it go across the blue line. They'll have to dump it back into the zone. A few great opportunities. Now it's Bailey working up the side once again. Just has it taken away by Virginia Tech. They'll kick it up to center ice looking for Cam Kazai, but it's taken away by number 2, Owen Larson. Nearly a breakaway for Larson there, but once again, the Hokies sticks in the way. They've dominated in transition this game. Knoll taking it across into the zone, gives it off for his teammate, knocked away by Forrest, but Larson recovers. Now it's Ethan Garlock tripped up as he goes across the ice, looking for that puck. A massive hit to Garlock along the boards. Wow.
Continuing that physicality from the first period.
The Ice Dogs have the size advantage, and they've made sure the Hokies have known it so far tonight. Leading pass just gets across. The Ice Dogs race after it to knock away the icing. Now looking to keep it in the zone here cleanly. Back behind the net. They dump it around wide over to Tyler Stewart. And we've got one more whistle as the net comes off once again.
There's that big hit there, and we've talked about Isaac Haugen and how well he's played keeping Georgia in this, but Forrest has also done phenomenally, especially the past 3 minutes in the second period. He had a poke check there and another big save to not let any goal in.
Tucker Forrest, just a sophomore this season. He played about once a week last year for Virginia Tech. Him and Ian Key would alternate games.
during his freshman year, a very talented goaltender. Allowed just one in so far here tonight. Now the Hokies with a little bit of presence in the offensive zone. They look into the slot for DeVivo, but it's knocked away. The Ice Dogs working up the right side. Punzenberger had it taken away. Now Virginia Tech looks to move in transition. DeVivo up from the point, shot wide left. And Virginia Tech up to collect along the boards, but it's knocked away all the way across. We'll get an icing here on Georgia.
DeVivo's had a huge impact on this game. No goals to show for it, but he's been all over the ice offensively and defensively. Big play there.
Just one goal on the season for DeVivo. He's had a lot of breakaway opportunities over the course of the year. Just hasn't quite been able to punch them through. It'll be Stewart on the faceoff for Virginia Tech. Jordan Sirota for Georgia. The Ice Dogs come up with it. Larson passes off to his teammate below the goal line. Now Georgia in transition, 2-on-2, as Punzenberger takes it up the side. Forrest bats it into the sidewall, and Virginia Tech will take it away in front of their own net. The Hokies working with speed. They'll swing it around the net. Marshall Campbell now up top to the blue line, shot wide left, and Lagas will race after it to retrieve. The Hokies collect it at center ice. They'll dump it in and go out for a line change. Georgia looking to speed things up. Along the side, now working into the center ice. Virginia Tech is look to limit those opportunities this season. That's one area they struggled earlier in the year, giving up shots right in front of the net as Georgia sends this one wide to the right. Hit up against the wall as Brian Rice collects behind the net for the Hokies. Not able to clear it. Georgia mishap on the stick handling, and it's cleared out by Austin Hearn. The Ice Dogs dump it in, but it's Brian Rice back in the circle. Feeds it up, looking for Tulo. And the Ice Dogs get the icing. We'll bring it back the other way.
And defensively, Virginia Tech, like you mentioned, not giving up those shots in the middle of the ice. You could see basically they had all 5 skaters right there in the slot, and Georgia had nowhere to go with it. They stripped Truman Haugen of the puck, and it went the other way. Great defense to just clog up that middle by the Hokies.
The Ice Dogs have done something very similarly this game as well, just keeping the Hokies pinned up against the boards. It's made a big difference in terms of the shots on goal. Tulo looking up for Hearn, just gets away from him, but it's on net to Haugen. He'll have to play it. Now Georgia looking to clear. Virginia Tech tripped up just in front of the blue line. Gavin now went down slipping on the ice. It's a one-on-one. Georgia will slow it down. Leaves it off for a teammate. Now the Ice Dogs losing possession. It's Austin Hearn who will bounce it off the boards. Up for the Hokies. A pair. Drew to Cray working towards the zone. And just not able to get it in there. As we've got a whistle here near the Dogs' goal. There'll be a penalty on Georgia. They're sending Owen Larson into the box. The junior defenseman standing at 5'11".
We'll see the first time of 5-on-4 hockey in this game. We saw 4-on-4 in the first period with 2 penalties, 1 to each team, but now we'll see if Virginia Tech can get one on the power play.
The Hokies' power play hasn't been quite as effective this season as it was last year. Just over 30% on the season on 52 power play opportunities. Virginia Tech, shot near the blue line, deflected away by Haugen. Now it's Lagas up top, over to now in the circle, looks for the centering pass, it's deflected away into the boards. The Hokies now below the goal line, running a different power play set. They send it back to the circle, cross pass to now, whiffs on the shot. Lagas up top, over to now on the side, centering pass once again. and Garlock wasn't able to stuff it through. The Ice Dogs with a crucial takeaway. They'll just get it across into the neutral zone, and Virginia Tech will have to collect. Lagas speeding up with a defender behind him. It's Zach Knoll. Lagas up the side, circles the net with Haugen. Works up to the point, far side circle pass. Now across to Peduzzi, pass into the center. Now had it knocked away into the boards. Another shot opportunity there, wide to the left. The Ice Dogs just able to clear it out to the red line, recovered by Tulo. And that's an offsides for the Hokies, a costly one here on the power play.
Yeah, really great pressure that Virginia Tech's been able to apply. Some really great passing side to side, getting Haugen to move. Unable to get a shot off that was super effective, but overall they've done really well, and Georgia's gotten the puck out of the zone when they needed to, now being one of those times.
36 seconds on the power play, just over 13 minutes remaining here in the second. Brian Rice for Virginia Tech swings it across. It's tipped in by DeVivo. The Ice Dogs looking to recover below the goal line, a Hokie on the ground. They do get it across, and it's over to Tucker Forrest. He'll play it to the side, looking there for Max Sullivan. Virginia Tech speeding things up as the power play is about to come to a close. A shot there from Brian Rice, swallowed up by Haugen. Just 3 seconds remaining on the man advantage.
Power play has been a huge part for Georgia this season. They've done really, really well at limiting those power play goals for other teams, and as you're seeing now with only 3 seconds to go, just not allowing Virginia Tech anything easy. They're really having to work for everything that they've gotten.
The Georgia PK sitting at just over 55% this season. As Larson prepares to exit the box, we're back to even strength. Georgia pushing it up, but it's taken away by the Hokies. Zach Stewart backhand shovels it in, but the Ice Dogs quickly kick it out to center ice, and we've got another whistle here right at the red line.
Looks like the puck may have hit a player sitting on a bench. We'll have a face-off in neutral ice. But this Georgia team looks night and day, completely different from they did in the first period. They've had a lot of really good chances, especially really early in this period. I don't know what Coach Camp told them in the locker room, but it's been effective.
It's clear that that goal from Evan Moore was crucial as well, getting a bit of momentum, keeping the Ice Dogs in the game late in the first period. Now Georgia up the left side. They try to sneak it past Forrest, but it's knocked away. Centering pass there to Ryan Bailey, had it taken away. And we've got another whistle out on the ice.
Going right back to the penalty kill are the Ice Dogs after what will likely be a tripping call right in the middle of the ice. And it's easy to kill, well, not easy, but it's doable to kill a penalty one time, but going back to back is really, really tough on your skaters.
It'll be Ryan Bailey for the tripping, an alternate captain for the Ice Dogs, and one of their best players with nearly 30 points this season. That's going to be a tough one on the penalty kill for Georgia. Down below the goal line, Georgia tripped up. And the Hokies working down low. Cam Kazai defended there by Martin. Goal line extended, the Hokies keeping it down low. Georgia limiting the shots as that one goes wide to the left. Bounced around off the board, swung around the low side. Peduzzi now at the point, lets it fly. It's wide right, Virginia Tech recovers just behind the net, trying to stuff it home. And he's laid out on the ice by the Ice Dogs. We'll kick it down to Kendall here to talk a little bit more about the ice conditions so far tonight.
Yeah, guys, the ice is actually in its best shape of the week, even though it's nearly 70 degrees out here, and that's because for outdoor hockey, it's less about temperature and more about cloud cover, and today's overcast skies have kept the sheet pretty firm. Of course, it'll wear as the game goes on. We've already seen a few guys lose edges in this physical matchup, but the ice crew, they're pleased with the ice so far. I will say, though, the glass is a little foggy down here, so it's been a little tough for me to see the game at times, guys.
Thanks, Kendall. Yes, a couple of patches of condensation here along the glass as we resume play with just over 11 minutes left in the second. We're back to even strength as this one's knocked away. 1 minute remaining on the power play. Out into center ice. Costly turnover by the Hokies. The Ice Dogs with an opportunity there. The backhand just into the side of the net. Declan Conway looking for the opportunity, not able to thread it past Tucker Forrest as the Hokies take it across the blue line. Gavin Peduzzi leaves it off for a teammate. Centering pass, DeVivo has it knocked away. Georgia's done a great job on the penalty kill, keeping the Hokies along the edges as that shot's knocked away by Haugen. Virginia Tech below the goal line. DeVivo down there with Hearn. Georgia able to pin it up against the boards momentarily. It was Evan Parente. Shot just to the left by Virginia Tech. And they've kept it in the zone as we get prepared to go back to 5-on-5 hockey. Here comes Ryan Bailey. Shot there just above the circle, and some players colliding there as we'll get a whistle and a stoppage of play.
Both teams going to take all their skaters on and replace them. And Georgia certainly seemed to be the aggressor in that altercation after the whistle. They do not need to get another penalty kill.
It hasn't been too costly to them for them yet, but it could be a big one. Virginia Tech, that speedy team with an extra player on the ice, could be deadly, but so far Georgia has fared quite well on the penalty kill. Ewan Andrew looking to backhand center. He's pinned up against the boards. Once again, the Ice Dogs just playing that physical game, keeping the Hokies pinned up there, not allowing them to get into center ice.
Seems to have been one of their strategies coming into the game. Just really playing physical, making them uncomfortable. Hokies have done well with it, though.
Georgia now across the red line. They take it into the zone. It's Brandon Ing looking for the opportunity. Gets it back out to Dylan Punzenberger, who jams it home.
Well, no Hokie there at the crease to break up that pass. It's what we saw with the 2 goals that Virginia Tech scored. Similarly, Georgia had nobody to play defense right there in front of the crease. And on that one, Dylan Punzenberger coming down from the blue line, tracks that one in. So you see here a great awareness to get that back. Punzenberger, wide open shot, tying this game up for the Ice Dogs.
What a goal from Dylan Punzenberger. Brings it up to 2-2 here with 9:09 remaining in the second period. Georgia wins the draw at center ice. They just get it back across as the Hokies dump it in. Haugen will play it behind his own net. Tie match here in Charlotte, North Carolina, as the Ice Dogs dump it in. Virginia Tech looking to clear. West Valiant sends it across, and now stuck behind Haugen's net. They knock it away to the side, tripped up along the boards. It was Charlie Kerrigan. The Ice has played well tonight, but a couple of slippery spots. We've seen a couple trip-ups here on occasion.
Yeah, and Kendall was just talking about it's 70 degrees here. There are people in attendance wearing shorts and a t-shirt, which is not something you see in an outdoor hockey game very often.
You really couldn't ask for a better rink given the circumstances. It has held up incredibly well. We mentioned probably the best conditions on the ice out of all of the 5 games that have played so far. Georgia will send it down and tipped across the line, quickly knocked away by the Hokies. Max Sullivan giving chase there. Collects it just below his own goal line. Off the Drew to Cray, and now Matt Tulo up the side. Pestered there by Ryan Bailey and Zach Knoll. The Ice Dogs playing solid defense, keeping the sticks active. Just past the 8-minute mark here in the second period. Cross pass by the Ice Dogs as Forrest deflects it off the blockers into the back glass. Now it's Zach Knoll across the sides. Has it knocked away as the Hokies chase after it. Larson and Tulo speeding up the side. Larson got tripped up, but he lands the pass to his teammate Jordan Sirota as the Ice Dogs work it into the neutral zone. Looking for the dump there, Graham Baird, but Forrest gloves it. We'll have a stoppage of play here with 7:14.
And both these defenses have been playing really, really well. Even in a 2-2 game, the goals, especially for Georgia, have come on moments, such as the breakaway for Evan Moore, and then after coming off of 2 penalty kills for the Ice Dogs, coming down and just getting a great transition goal from Dylan Punzenberger. But other than those maybe 15 seconds of gameplay where the Hokies have given up 2 goals, they've played really, really well.
Georgia have been able to capitalize on the limited opportunities. That'll come up big for them in the end as we're across the midway point of the second. Behind the goal, the Ice Dogs get it out to center ice. Evan Parente, the captain, working as the Ice Dogs are knocked down. We've got a whistle there on the puck. Declan Conway got laid out.
Yeah, Declan Conway on that first line, and it's interesting to see that the Ice Dogs have relied on 2 guys who haven't gotten as many goals this season. Evan Moore's been really, really great offensively. He was even better last season. And Dylan Punzenberger, who's been on this team for a long time, also coming up big, but haven't relied on that first line like we might have thought coming into the game.
You need those experienced players, those veterans of the team, to come up big in these big games, especially when the Stars haven't been able to get it done quite yet. Below the Hokies goal line, shot into the side of the net by the Ice Dogs as there's a big hit right in front of the net by Brian Rice. Caught up along the boards. Georgia looking to free it. They get it out to Parente in front of the zone, but just has it knocked away as he leaves the pass there for Ryan Bailey. Wes Valiant across the blue line, lets it fly. Batted into the boards by Haugen. Wachtel, far side, up to the blue line once again. Ripped wide to the right, DeVivo collects for the Hokies. Took a hit there from Sirota. And now the Ice Dogs collect it thanks to Ryan Miller. Working up along the boards. Cleared away by Virginia Tech, but quickly dumped back in by the Ice Dogs. Tyler Stewart getting it done as they go out for a change. It's Martin chasing after it, battling with Ewan Andrew down below the goal line. Now the Ice Dogs. Cross ice pass, just knocked away by Virginia Tech. Out to the red line, that one nearly tipped into the benches. Nifty move out in the neutral zone. Zach Stewart was trying to get through, able to dump it in as the Hokies keep it there at the blue line. Now back to Stewart, lets it rip. Knocked away by Haugen. Leaves it off for his teammate there, Tyler Stewart. Georgia's been playing a solid defensive game here so far.
Yeah, this second period, they've stepped it up.
Haugen has been crucial for them in the net as well with his impressive save percentage. Such a tall player in the goal. The Hokies have had a tough time getting it past him.
Yeah, and on a really big goalie like Isaac Haugen, you're not going to get any easy goals. They have to be really quality chances. He doesn't really let much easy stuff get by him, and the defense of Georgia has done a really good job at limiting those quality chances.
What would the Hokies have to do to put another few past Haugen?
They need to take advantage of that slot shot that, like I said, Georgia's been taking away, but they found many times, as well as capitalize on transition. As you see one brewing right now.
The Hokies on the run, up the right side. Georgia keeping them up against the glass. As Haugen covers that one up, another whistle here at 4:18. You can't give enough props to Haugen there in the net. With the game he's played, just able to shut Virginia Tech down for a good amount of this game so far.
Yeah, 19 shots so far for Virginia Tech. A lot of those coming in the first period. He was a big reason that the score wasn't any worse than it was going into first intermission.
It's no wonder that Georgia looks to play him just about every game. Haugen has been dominant in the net this season for the Ice Dogs. Up against the boards, Georgia looking to free it. Somebody's glove out on the ground. Out to Nate Haley there. And Austin Hearn takes it away in the offensive zone. The Ice Dogs looking to clear. Hearn takes it back. Trying to dance around the left. He leaves it there, defended well by Owen Larson. And the Ice Dogs still not able to clear it. It's just going back and forth with Austin Hearn. That shot right in front of the net, not able to sink it through. As Georgia finally able to clear that puck. They had so many takeaways, and Hearn just took it right back.
That was big, and now Georgia's able to get 5 fresh skaters out on the ice.
A long shift for the Ice Dogs, and then an icing there for the Hokies will bring it back the other way.
Yeah, on the face-off, Virginia Tech's done really, really well today. They've won more than the Ice Dogs have, but coming into today's game, Georgia relies a lot on those quick shots off the face-off that have allowed them to get many goals this season.
Ren, what do you think the difference maker is going to be as we get into the last couple of minutes of the second period? How does Georgia take the lead here?
I think they're going to have to keep the momentum that they've had in this second period. They have gotten the only goal this period, but it's all about who's hot. They're going to need to get a goal from someone on the first line. That's who they've relied on offensively all season. Parente, Conway, and Bailey. Bailey doing really well, has one of the most powerful shots in the conference. We'll see if he can muster up something.
We've got a correction. It wasn't an icing. It's actually a power play here for the Hokies. They'll have 2 minutes with the man advantage. 0 for 2 so far tonight on the power play. The Georgia PK has been quite impressive.
Yeah, it looked like an icing at first, but on this power play, especially late in the period, we'll see if Virginia Tech can just wear out the skaters of the Ice Dogs. Spending 4 minutes already on the penalty kill. Now it'll be 6 after this.
It's Lagas with the puck at the point. Drops it into the circle there for Gavin Now. Lagas back to the point. Back to Now. They're playing catch. Lagas sends it from the point. Wide to the right. Virginia Tech looking to recover. And Lagas collects at the blue line. Sends it to the other side this time and taken away by the Ice Dogs. Looking to clear it, and they do. Speeding across. Not able to mount the odd man rush, but they'll bring it back thanks to Truman Haugen and recover, kill off some time as they dump it down low. Virginia Tech, pass up to the blue line, knocked away by Georgia once again. The Hokies will collect it below their own goal. And Max Sullivan, pass up to Tulo. Takes it across the blue line, speeding up the edge. He's defended there by Graham Baird. Shot from the point. Hearn not able to stuff it through down low. Swings it across the boards to Rice. Virginia Tech, more commotion in front of the net. That's one thing they love to focus on during the game. A couple hits there between Rice and Parente.
Looks like that'll do it for the power play for the Hokies. Tyler Stewart serving the penalty on that one. One of the few guys on this Georgia team who is actually from Georgia. He grew up playing at the Ice and Cumming, and he originally started on this team as a forward in his first season, but then got transitioned into a defenseman. So he's found a new spot on that defensive line for the Ice Dogs in the past 2 seasons.
Georgia perfect on the penalty kill here tonight. The Hokies power play numbers down quite a bit this season from the last. The Ice Dogs just able to clear it out to center ice. Trevor Kellogg will dump it down low behind the goal. Haugen plays it to his teammate. Now it's up to Charlie Kerrigan along the boards. The Ice Dogs slow it down momentarily, stopping on a dime. Now it's Punzenberger along the boards. Looks for the centering pass, but taken away by Virginia Tech. The Hokies back with McLeod. Looking up for Ewan Andrew, but that one's knocked away. The pass off the boards, a bit off the money. Punzenberger from right where he made the other goal. Tough shot into the boards there from Zach Stewart as the Hokies look to push. Nice defense from the Ice Dogs. Able to keep it along the boards as we're under 30 seconds remaining here in the second.
These last seconds of a period are so crucial. We saw a goal from Georgia at the end of the first with 3 seconds to go. Georgia's also been bitten a few times, letting goals get away from them at the end of a period, including a game against Michigan State earlier this season, which they tied it up with 3 seconds to go in the game. So playing the full 20 minutes and not transitioning into the intermission early.
The Ice Dogs have played quite a few overtime games, though, if this game does go that far. They've been fairly successful in those, but now the Hokies put it through once again. It's Matt Tulo for Virginia Tech.
And that's what happens when you have 6 whole minutes of penalty killing for the Ice Dogs. The skaters are probably tired after full 20 minutes of skating and then just thinking about intermission, like I said pretty much a few seconds ago. Letting one get by Haugen and taking the lead for the Hokies.
The Ice Dogs had one late in the first period, and the Hokies do it here in the second with 9.2 remaining. The draw at center ice, Virginia Tech wins it. Cam Kazai speeding up the side. That one knocked away into the glass. There's 3 seconds left. Haugen posted up along the pipes as we get the buzzer at the end of the second period. Virginia Tech this time able to capitalize with less than 10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, much needed for the Hokies. Now feeling good going into intermission, up 1 goal like they were in the in the first period.
You've got to go back to that big game changer, though, from Punzenberger. Able to even up the game, though, for quite a bit of the second period on that shot from the side of the circle.
Yeah, I mean, that was huge, and seeing it come from a guy like Punzenberger coming into the game with 3 goals this season, that's a huge goal from him, and good to see coming in to the game.
Well, the Hokies take the lead by a goal. It's 3-2 Virginia Tech as we get ready to send it down to Kendall here with Georgia head coach John Camp.
Well, Virginia Tech scores with less than 10 seconds left in this second frame. How would you like for your group to respond to the third?
Get a good talk between
You mentioned the talk that you had during the first intermission. Yes, I would agree that your team came out here a completely different dynamic in the second period. What did you tell them in that first intermission?
Just more into the excitement of this event. Maybe it's a little bit of the focus away. We just have to kind of give them a little bit of a talk to and get back to our game. Pretty good there.
The second goal of the game for your group came about halfway through the second period. What did you like about that sequence?
Well, they're just coming in and they're doing what we're asking them to do. We're crashing the net, trying to make sure that we're getting good, quick passes. Obviously, the ice is in a great condition. Some of the things that our guys are typically used to doing, we got to take that away from them and remind them to play to the conditions here.
All right, Coach, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Nice, back to you.
Thanks, Kendall. Well, you heard it right there from John Camp. Georgia not quite playing their game as Virginia Tech takes the 3-2 lead here in Charlotte. Welcome back to the 7:04 outdoor face-off. Kyle Bean here with Ren Grimsley as the Hokies take the 3-2 lead here at the end of the second period.
Now Virginia Tech once again dominating possession there for a large majority of the period. The Ice Dogs on the penalty kill 3 times.
Yeah, especially in that second half of the period, it seemed like it was all Virginia Tech. Georgia may have used some of the momentum coming off the late goal from Evan Moore in the first period to come into the second period and play a little better, clean up some of those passes, but eventually it wore off. Part of that, like you mentioned, probably because of 3 penalty kills that they had to serve, 2 of them being in the first half, and those skaters just got tired for Georgia.
But the Ice Dogs were able to capitalize thanks to Dylan Punzenberger along the side of the circle. A big one for them as they evened it up to 2-2.
Yeah, and excellent awareness from Jordan Sirota, who was given the assist. He's one of the quickest skaters on the ice for the Ice Dogs, and he was able to get that one to Punzenberger, who was flying right down the blue line. Great awareness from both of them, able to tie the game up.
Crucial goal there for the Ice Dogs, but Virginia Tech capitalizing with under 10 seconds, similar to how Georgia did back in the first period. Matt Tulo stuffing it home there late in the second.
Yeah, Tulo able to just find an open lane, one that Georgia doesn't give up much in the center of that ice. Like we mentioned, both teams doing an excellent job covering the slot defensively, but Matt Tulo able to get one, probably because of those tired skaters for Georgia, and able to take the lead for Virginia Tech going into the second intermission.
Now, Ren, you talked about how the Georgia skaters are quite tired, especially after the penalty kill. What do they need to do headed into the third to clean up their game and make sure their legs stay fresh?
Well, they got to know that there's only 20 minutes left in this game. The only chance they get here at this outdoor arena, it's beautiful with a great skyline, great conditions. They need to know that there's only 20 minutes left and they have to take advantage of this and get a goal here, get 2 goals if they want the lead. But like you mentioned on the call, they have overtime experience.
That overtime experience could be big if they're able to even it up into the third period. But right now, the Hokies with the 1-goal lead here at the end of the second. We'll be back in a few minutes with some highlights from the second period. Join us right back here on ESPN+.
Hey everybody, I'm out here at our ice rink at Truist Field, but I want to remind you that this rink won't be here in just a few months. It'll be time for baseball season. The Charlotte Knights season is quickly approaching and tickets are going on sale soon. Tickets will be on sale soon for our opening night, Friday, March 27th. The Charlotte Knights taking on the Durham Bulls, and for the rest of the season. So head over to charlotteknights.com. Stay on the lookout over there. We can't wait to welcome you all back to the ballpark.
Everyone has a community, a neighborhood, school, kids' teams, where you worship, work out, or any other place or group where you choose to belong. Communities can provide support when you need it, and even when you don't know you do. Like when it comes to preventing underage drinking and other substance use. Community members can be your eyes and ears when you're not with your kids and alert you to signs of potential problems. Learn more at talktheyhearyou.samhsa.gov.
When you look at me, you might see
a person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
You'll see
A warrior mom.
an endurance athlete.
someone with a lot of fight.
every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit
Is
unshakable.
Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
For each life moment, your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. Your kids may be eligible now, even if you've applied before. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Get started now at insurekidsnow.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
You want to talk about blood cancer? Definitely not.
What the? Members on the registry.
Welcome back to Truist Field, where we have hockey action here. Virginia Tech up 3-2 in the second intermission. I'm Ren Grimsley, joined by Kyle Bean, and we have highlights from the second period here as Virginia Tech took the lead 3-2 after Georgia was able to tie it up in the second period.
What a fun second period. Both teams putting one goal on the board, a massive hit there right along the boards. Too low, looking to stuff that one in, but not quite able to capitalize. Now Georgia up along their side and rips it over to Punzenberger, who jams it home. A big one for the Ice Dogs as they even it up at 2-2 earlier in the second period. Now working back to the Hokies in the offensive zone. Matt Tulo there with just 9 seconds left on the clock. Able to thread the needle there against Haugen to get the Hokies back on top 3-2. But man, Haugen, he's been playing a good game, but just Virginia Tech able to get it done.
Just a few slip-ups for the defense of Georgia that have led to those goals for for Virginia Tech. And it's been a really great game. What do you expect coming into the third period?
I think we're going to see much of the same in some aspects. The Hokies have dominated possession, but I think Georgia won't have 3 back-to-back penalty kills to deal with. I do think head coach John Camp is going to have them clean their game up a little bit, potentially get a power play mix in there. I do expect this to be a close one.
Yeah, staying out of the penalty box certainly be a point of emphasis. That wasn't a problem in the first period, but led to Georgia's woes in the second. We'll be back for third period action right here on ESPN+.
We're back in Uptown Charlotte here at Truist Field. Chris Lehman alongside Ren Grimsley as we close in on period number 3. And this has continued to be a fantastic hockey game. Virginia Tech with a goal in the last 10 seconds. We've had a goal in the last 10 seconds of both periods, Ren. And I think that's kind of where I want to start as we look ahead to the third period. The start of the period is going to be really important. They flipped the script. Last period, Georgia scored late in the first period, had the momentum going into the second. They're going to have to find a way to get the momentum back after Virginia Tech scored late.
And I think we saw that momentum actually play out for the Ice Dogs in the first half of the second period. They were getting chances that they hadn't seen all first period. They were passing the puck really well, getting a lot of offensive zone time that they didn't see in that first period. So now we'll see if Virginia Tech can do the same thing, and with a lead, maybe even extend that lead going into the end of the game.
Oh yeah, and it's been a solid game all around for Virginia Tech. The one thing that I want to keep an eye on as well going into the third period, just overall, is physicality. When Georgia was able to suck Virginia Tech into a little bit more physical game, it felt like the Ice Dogs were able to play that game better than the Hokies. So they've got 20 minutes to figure things out. Right now it's Virginia Tech up 3-2 on Georgia. We'll be back with Puck Drop next.
Hey everybody, I'm out here at our ice rink at Truist Field, but I want to remind you that this rink won't be here in just a few months. It'll be time for baseball season. The Charlotte Knights season is quickly approaching and tickets are going on sale soon. Tickets will be on sale soon for our opening night, Friday, March 27th. The Charlotte Knights taking on the Durham Bulls, and for the rest of the season. So head over to charlotteknights.com. Stay on the lookout over there. We can't wait to welcome you all back to the ballpark.
Everyone has a community, a neighborhood, school, kids' teams, where you worship, work out, or any other place or group where you choose to belong. Communities can provide support when you need it, and even when you don't know you do. Like when it comes to preventing underage drinking and other substance use. Community members can be your eyes and ears when you're not with your kids and alert you to signs of potential problems. Learn more at talktheyhearyou.samhsa.gov.
When you look at me, you might see
a person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
You'll see
A warrior mom.
an endurance athlete.
someone with a lot of fight.
every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit
Is
unshakable.
Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
For each life moment, your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. Your kids may be eligible now, even if you've applied before. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Get started now at insurekidsnow.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
You want to talk about blood cancer? Definitely not.
What the? Doctors making discoveries. P is for patients living cancer-free.
20 minutes left between Virginia Tech and Georgia. The Hokies leading the Ice Dogs 3-2 as we head into the final period of this one, thanks to a goal with 9 seconds left from Matthew Tulo that gave Virginia Tech that lead. Chris Lehman alongside Ren Grimsley as you get a look at Uptown Charlotte as seen from Truist Field here, the host site of the 704 outdoor face-off in Ren. We've had some great games already over the first 4, and this 5th one is just as good.
Yeah, well, first of all, that camera shot right there truly does not capture how beautiful it is here. I mean, these buildings immediately over the rink. It's just wonderful to be here. But yeah, this has been a really exciting game, back and forth. Georgia was able to tie it up in the second period, seeming like they had all the momentum on their side, and they did, but they had struggles staying out of the penalty box, and that ultimately led to what I believe retired skaters for Georgia at the end of the second period, and a goal there for Matt Tulo of the Hokies, taking the lead for Virginia Tech.
It looks like they might be waiting on something with the ice. It does look a bit damp, I would say, on the ice. It still seems a little bit like the ice hasn't quite dried and frozen over since the Zamboni went over top of it. And as you can see here, the players are going to head over to the benches here for a moment and wait for, I would assume, for this ice to kind of finish up. They're going to send somebody or a bit of the ice crew back out onto the ice, and it looks like it might specifically be about the goal down at the Virginia Tech end, and I think Kendall Smith down at ice level has a bit more for us. Kendall, what do you have?
Yeah, guys, I just spoke with Grace Ang, who is the vice president of special events here with the Charlotte Knights, and she said right now the ice is just too soupy, and so they need to give it some time to just be able to dry off a little bit. It's a 7-minute delay as of right now, so that is the latest on the ice conditions.
Thank you, Kendall. That's good news to hear. And Ren, that's going to kind of change things. We talked about, of course, the Ice Dogs were able to carry momentum on that late goal into the second. Now, if you're Virginia Tech, you're keyed up and ready to go. You got to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, definitely. The mentality there of just coming out onto the ice, you're up, you have all the momentum on your side, and you're ready to play hockey, and then you get out there and are told you have to go sit on the bench for 7 more minutes, and you can tell it is a lot more slippery. You can see the reflection of players on the ice better than you probably should be. So good call to get them off the ice and not play if it's too wet and unsafe for these players.
Yeah, well, it looks like they might bring the Zam out as well. And while they get the ice suitable for the final 20 minutes, we'll step aside and come back as we get set for what should be a great third period between Virginia Tech and Georgia. Both Zambonis are out on the ice trying to scrape up some of the excess water on the rink here at Truist Field as we await the start of period number 3. Get a look at the Georgia bench there. Chris Lehman and Ren Grimsley with you. We're going to take a look at how we got here. We'll go all the way back to period number 1. It was a dominant one for Virginia Tech, and it was this tip from you and Andrew that opened up the score.
Like you mentioned, all Virginia Tech that first period, they were knocking on the door so many times. Got to figure eventually one was going to go in. You see a deflection there on that first goal, and then right here, nobody able to cover. Just getting an easy goal right there in front of Haugen.
Marshall Campbell all alone there. The 2 goals Virginia Tech scored that period were all about getting alone in front, but you can't quit until the final horn of the period. You saw there as Moore picks up the goal for Georgia with 3 seconds left in the period. It was the first of 2 goals. Both periods had goals in the final 10 seconds, and the Ice Dogs take advantage there. They carry that momentum into period number 2, and they tied it up with that goal.
Yeah, that goal by Moore at the end of the first just gave a little bit of life to this Ice Dogs team. They came out a lot hotter in that second period, and Jordan Sirota on a pass to Punzenberger, able to tie the game up. However, another goal at the end of the second period by Tulo for the Hokies, able to take the lead, making it a 3-2 game. Now you got to figure it's still anybody's game, as we saw Georgia able to come out hot after the last intermission and tie the game up down 2.
Well, the ice starting to look better as they continue to scrape up some of the extra water. The fans here definitely ready to go for what should be a fantastic third period. And even the teams down on the bench getting into it a little bit. But this is a really interesting twist to the end of this game here, because it goes both ways. Both teams, I'm sure, were ready to go for the third period, and now you kind of have to sit on that energy and hope that you keep it as they play, or as they get ready to play period number 3. We're going to take one more quick break. When we come back, hopefully we'll be ready to play some hockey here in Uptown Charlotte.
Hey everybody, I'm out here at our ice rink at Truist Field, but I want to remind you that this rink won't be here in just a few months. It'll be time for baseball season. Charlotte Knights season is quickly approaching, and tickets are going on sale soon. Tickets will be on sale soon for our opening night, Friday, March 27th, the Charlotte Knights taking on the Durham Bulls, and for the rest of the season. So head over to charlotteknights.com. Stay on the lookout over there. We can't wait to welcome you all back to the ballpark.
Everyone has a community, a neighborhood, school, kids' teams, where you worship, work out, or any other place or group where you choose to belong. Communities can provide support when you need it, and even when you don't know you do. Like when it comes to preventing underage drinking and other substance use. Community members can be your eyes and ears when you're not with your kids and alert you to signs of potential problems. Learn more at talktheyhearyu.samhsa.gov.
Hey everybody, I'm out here at our ice rink at Truist Field, but I want to remind you that this rink won't be here in just a few months. It'll be time for baseball season. The Charlotte Knights season is quickly approaching, and tickets are going on sale soon. Tickets will be on sale soon for our opening night, Friday, March 27th, the Charlotte Knights taking on the Durham Bulls, and for the rest of the season. So head over to charlotteknights.com. Stay on the lookout over there. We can't wait to welcome you all back to the ballpark.
Everyone has a community, a neighborhood, school, kids' teams, where you worship, work out, or any other place or group where you choose to belong. Communities can provide support when you need it, and even when you don't know you do. Like when it comes to preventing underage drinking and other substance use. Community members can be your eyes and ears when you're not with your kids and alert you to signs of potential problems. Learn more at talktheyhearyu.samhsa.gov.
Well, both teams making their way back onto the ice off their benches to get loose again for period number 3 as the Zambonis off the ice. Chris Lehman, Ren Grimsley with you here as Virginia Tech has a 3-2 lead over the Georgia Ice Dogs. And Ren, like we talked about, a little bit of a delay here to the period. It does look like they've been able to get a good amount of that excess water off, but it'll be interesting to see here, at least early in the period, if there are still a few puddles and problem spots that the puck gets stuck on.
Yeah, the Zambonis came through. It looked like they didn't even lay a fresh thing of water down on the ice, just scraping some of that excess water up off to make it nice and create some traction on the ice for these skaters. But you've mentioned, what is this going to do for both teams? Virginia Tech thinking they had momentum coming in. Will they be able to capitalize on that? I'm not sure. We'll see in the third period.
Well, the two teams now huddled up at their benches. They're ready to restart play. Georgia in the white uniforms and red helmets with the silver pants. They will be moving left to right across your screen here in the third. In the orange uniforms with the maroon trim and maroon pants, the Virginia Tech Hokies will move left to right. But it's going to be really interesting to see how these two teams come out of their break, because Virginia Tech, as we talked about, should have some momentum. But this is a really, really awkward way, and something that you almost never run into in a hockey game, because you don't run into games that have to deal with the elements like this. You almost never run into a scenario like this.
Yeah, 70-degree game outside, not common, but here we are.
We're ready to rock and roll here in period number 3. Puck is dropped. Virginia Tech controls at puck drop. 62 degrees here in uptown Charlotte. Not going to get too much cooler as the night wears on either. Very comfortable for the fans. A little bit complicated for the ice crew. Virginia Tech in on the forecheck. Backhanded down below the goal line. It'll be collected by Tulo, most recent Hokie goal scorer. Chipped back down deep at the defense by Max Sullivan. He'll hold the line again. Deflected shot off the pad of Haugen as he faces the first shot of the period. Shots 22-12 coming into this period. They were 9-6 in favor of Virginia Tech in period number 2.
That just goes to show the domination that Virginia Tech has had in the offensive zone, getting a lot of shots, but Georgia's defense has done a pretty good job at limiting the quality of those shots that they've taken.
It'll be pitchforked into the zone now by Gavin Peduzzi, the top line for the Hokies out there, as the Ice Dogs miss the connection on that stretch pass. It'll be icing just a minute and 5 seconds into period number 3. And Virginia Tech has been the stronger team in the face-off circle throughout the night. And you do wonder if that extra possession is already helping them, and if it'll make an even bigger difference here in the third.
Well, that's definitely a contributor and something that Georgia wants to maybe improve upon, especially if they're going to come back and take a lead here or even just tie it.
Another face-off win in the offensive zone for the Hokies. They've won the first 2 draws of this period, but Georgia able to force the puck out into neutral ice. Sent right back in at the blue line by Theo Lanigan. In on the forecheck is Ethan Garla. Has some help from Cam Gasai behind the goal. It squirts loose though, and Georgia has it in the form of Bill Martin. Good pressure from the Hokie forecheck though. Peduzzi trying to whip one on goal from that far wall. Fanned on the pass, and it'll be chipped back down low by Rice. Collected by Haugen at the defense. He'll send it all the way down. Not going to have icing here, so Georgia able to get some fresh legs out there. They'll have a chance to go in on the forecheck, but I think that one might have slipped under the Zamboni doors over in that corner. That's been an interesting kind of a wild card to this ice throughout the course of these last couple weekends. We saw it a little bit earlier tonight. There was an awkward carom off the boards in that corner where the puck squirted out in front, and there it kind of got jammed.
That's what you get with those temporary ice rinks. Georgia knows all about that, playing in the Classic Center for several years, basically in a ballroom with an ice rink set up for 2 months out of the year.
This time it'll be icing on Virginia Tech as the Hokies shoot one the length of the ice. Just 2 minutes gone in period number 3. This is game 5 of 6 here as part of the 704 outdoor face-off. Last weekend, Auburn and Coastal Carolina kicked things off as the Tigers beat the Chanticleers 9-4. Then we had our first of what is 2 overtime games so far in this 704 outdoor face-off as South Carolina beat North Carolina. Here's a chance for Virginia Tech. Shot rings off the iron for Jackson DeVivo, and Georgia able to clear the zone momentarily as we've got a whistle
And I think we might have seen Virginia Tech in offsides over in front of the Georgia bench. So we'll get a neutral zone face-off here.
Powerful shot here after the breakaway. There's a little bit of net movement from my eyes. Can't really see it there on the replay, but either way, that was about as close as it gets without being a goal.
Another face-off win for the Hokies. Can't clear it into the offensive end, though. It'll be shot right back out by the Ice Dogs. First one to it for Tech is Sullivan. His clear up the wall, shot down. Oh, it's thrown off the pipe from the high slot. A great chance in front. I believe that was Evan Moore, who scored the first goal for Georgia in the first. And now Virginia Tech has a chance to go on the attack. Stopped up on the near wall. Good stick lift from Ewan Andrew, but he wasn't able to come away with the puck. Clearance blocked down now by Zach Stewart. He'll walk the blue line, slides it down low. Andrew with the pressure for Virginia Tech. The Ice Dogs able to find some time and space. Graham Baird trying to skate it out and can't. Ends up leaving it for Watson. His headman pass disrupted, and it's loose in the neutral zone for Virginia Tech to take over. Now some space for Sullivan down the right wing. He's forced off the puck by Tyler Stewart. Stewart lost the puck, and it's the Hokies back in control. Tulo as the difference maker right now. He loses that board battle, and Georgia clears. Hokies gain the blue line, but a little hesitation from the defenseman Rice, and they're offsides.
Good break for the Ice Dogs. They were entering that zone, and it's looking a lot like that first period where it was all Virginia Tech getting time in their offensive zone. Georgia's did have a really good chance on the other end with Evan Moore. But they're going to need to establish some more offensive zone time if they want to tie this up.
It'll be interesting to see. Both Zambonis are actually closer to the ice rink than they typically are. As I take a look over into that corner, I think they're ready in case they need to come back out and clear things up a bit midway through this period. You see that in some of those outdoor NHL games if the ice is messy. Here's Virginia Tech with another chance. Tulo sweeps one in front, nobody there in an orange jersey. Hokies, though, hold the zone as a shot from the blue line held in the glove of Haugen. A little tester from Theo Lanigan. 16:06 left in the third.
And right now, Virginia Tech just continuing to apply pressure to Isaac Haugen, making him make plays. He doesn't give up many dumb goals, but no goal there. About as close as you could get once again on that goal, on that shot.
I've seen both teams with a couple of really good chances already this period. Both teams have hit a pipe. Virginia Tech continuing in the offensive end, though, pinching in the defenseman McLeod will walk it down below the goal line. Now he's behind the net, pestered there as he works into the near corner. Ryan Miller on him. Puck comes loose and it deflects out of play, and I think somebody caught it in their cup over there. Got to watch out. There's not quite as much netting around this rink because you're a little bit limited. That one came up into the upper level.
There is a big distance between the rink and where the fans are sitting, but even then when they're shooting as hard as they are, and a puck goes rogue.
Got to keep your eye on it, but I saw a splash, so I think somebody, they either spilled their drink catching it or caught it in their drink. Either way, it's pretty impressive. Another offensive zone draw for Virginia Tech. This time it's the Ice Dogs with control, and they'll be able to clear the zone. It's deflected on the clearance, so no icing here. Still Virginia Tech skates it out of the zone with relative ease. Haugen at the defense. Throws it backhand off the wall, but not out. Forced down low again by the Virginia Tech forecheck. Wachtel down below the goal line. Centers it. That one sent right back to him. And Haugen takes over for the Ice Dogs. He's under pressure from a couple of Hokies. He'll be wrestled to the ice by West Valiant. And again, the Ice Dogs rather will have to reset the breakout. Pass up the left wing was intended for Wyatt McAvoy. A little bit too much on it though. And now the Ice Dogs ice the puck, and Wren looks like they're starting to get a little bit tired, and I think Virginia Tech is putting them in a position where they're at risk of making a crucial mistake.
Yeah, that's what we saw in the first period, was just continuing to apply pressure offensively, getting those shots off. They doubled Georgia's shot total in the first period. And that seems to be a similar tactic in this period, just constantly making this Georgia team uncomfortable, and we haven't seen physicality from the Ice Dogs like we did see in that first period. So I would agree with you that perhaps everyone's just a little tired out there after traveling here and playing a lot of hockey.
Well, they did reconvene and decide to put the face-off at center ice and not all the way down. A little over 5 minutes gone in this third period. Shots are 2-1 in favor of Virginia Tech this period. Heavy hit on Conway on that far side. That creates a chance in front, and a point-blank save made by Haugen. And he has a little extra shove for Campbell behind the play. Here come the Ice Dogs. Shot fought off by Forrest. And Georgia keeps the pressure on. Thrown off the bar. Another pipe hit by Virginia Tech, or by Georgia. And now Virginia Tech going to get a penalty. This is Marshall Campbell. We talked about the physical play going Georgia's way, and they get Virginia Tech there, I think, Red, to step over the line just a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes if you're just nudging them a little bit, we saw Conway with a hit right in Virginia Tech's offensive zone, laying a couple, and then just a push in the back. Georgia's first time on the power play this entire game. They've been pretty effective this season.
That was one thing that Coach Mullen mentioned leading up to this game, that he wanted his team to do well, stay out of the penalty box. You're going to take penalties at times, but this is a tough time to take a penalty if you're Virginia Tech with a 1-goal lead.
Yeah, Georgia 81% on the season on the power play. That's phenomenal.
And Tech clears the zone. Georgia will have to reset the man advantage. Virginia Tech 0 for 3 on the power play. This will be their first chance to kill one. And they shoot it back in again. That was Peduzzi with the clear. And again, Georgia moves up ice. Head man for Watson. He'll wrap it around the wall, takes a weird bounce off the half boards, and it's Watson high slot. Steps through a contact and then turns it over to Peduzzi, who clears the zone about halfway through the power play for the Ice Dogs. Stretch pass up ice, left at the center ice circle, and it'll be carried in. Shot ends up in the glass behind the goal, collected by Zach Knoll. And the Georgia fans trying to get behind their squad on a crucial power play. 45 seconds left. One-timer from the top of that near circle is blocked, and it looks like a Hokie penalty killer is shaken up. Maybe a chance here to take advantage of a hobbled Peduzzi, but Virginia Tech able to clear it, and that is a tough one. Hopefully for the Hokies, he's able to get back out on the ice. Peduzzi is a key player on that Hokie bench.
Yeah, comes into the game leading in points for this Virginia Tech team, so hopefully, even if he doesn't come back for the rest of the game, he's good for the rest of the season.
One last push on the power play, and losing the handle right in front was Ryan Bailey. Down to 10 seconds of power play time. Bailey again on the hashes. Floats one cross ice for Conway. Top of the circle, back to Bailey. He'll settle it down as the power play comes to a close. Shot, pad save made by Forrest, who's without a stick. And now Virginia Tech can move up and out. Campbell out of the box, coming forward on a 2-on-1. Glove save made on the shot by Haugen. And a little extra shove for Matthew Tulo after the whistle, but a good chance after killing the power play for Virginia Tech there.
Virginia Tech's gotten so many chances in transition. You see a 2-on-1 here coming down. Not a bad shot. Pretty much the only bad shot is right in the goalie's chest, and Haugen was able to glove that one down. Great awareness and reflexes from the Ice Dogs goalie.
And you have to give some credit to his brother, who was the defenseman on that 2-on-1, and Truman Haugen. He did a nice job of taking away the pass to Campbell and forcing that shot. And we're going to pause again here. I'm not 100% sure what this pause is for. Well, I think they might be considering whether to bring the Zambonis out again, because the ice is still a little bit wet.
Yeah, you can tell there's some water that's sort of piling up in certain areas, but the referee is saying no motioning on the Jumbotron there, so we'll get back to it.
Virginia Tech controls off the draw. Just under 12 minutes left in this one. Hokie still with a lead and a chance to add to it as it's poked just wide by DeVivo, who came in and found the loose puck first. Hokies continuing with a lot of ozone time. Held in at the blue line by Lagas. He'll pull it down into the corner. It skips past DeVivo. And Georgia a chance to clear, but they can't. Standing tall at the blue line there was Rice. He'll shoot it around the wall to the far side, and it's collected there by Zach Knoll. He's forced backwards, has some help in Tyler Stewart, who will wrap around his own net. And Georgia skates it out past their own bench, chipped in by Ryan Miller, but it's deflected back out into the middle, and a chance for Virginia Tech. Miller takes his man down, that's Stewart, hauls his man down into the net. And that's going to be an easy call for the official, and a 2-minute power play upcoming for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Stewart pretty much no other choice than to just play aggressive right there. If you're going to play aggressive, at least not give up the goal. And Georgia's penalty kill, which has been very successful on 3 chances this game. And this is Stewart's second time going to the penalty box.
Holding penalty, but like you were saying, there really wasn't a whole lot of other options. You could hope that your goaltender Haugen could make the one-on-one save there, but you'd rather, the way they've been able to kill the penalties, you'd rather take your chance killing off 2 minutes.
And if you don't play aggressive there and you let Haugen take a chance at it, and the Virginia Tech they score, then you're going to get torched when watching film for not playing more aggressive and taking away that shot.
So Virginia Tech with their 4th man advantage of the game. Their other 3 came last period, and they went 0 for. Off the draw, it's tied up in that near circle. Hokies able to get to it first. Kazai cuts right to the net, and it'll be covered up in the crease by Haugen. And Georgia didn't like the extra activity in front of their netminder. And we're starting to see the tempers boil up a little bit, Ren.
Yeah, well, Georgia needs to get a goal, and we saw them playing aggressive in the first and second periods, and it boded well for them. It was one of their stronger points in that first period. It's kind of dialed down a little bit the first 10 minutes of the third period, but rallying it back up, especially if you take a shot at Haugen. Bill Martin there, not letting that slide.
They're going to bring the face-off, interestingly, out of the zone here. Somewhat of a free clear for the Georgia penalty kill, who still has 1:52 to bleed off the clock before Stewart comes back onto the ice after his holding penalty. Georgia to it in their own end, shot down the ice. And Virginia Tech will regroup in their own end. You can definitely tell, particularly at the Virginia Tech end where there hasn't been quite as much activity, it's still nice and damp, almost like the Zambonis just came off the ice. Peduzzi into the zone. Can't connect cleanly with Kazai, and now Parente will clear it up ice for Conway on the penalty kill. They're going to try and attack shorthanded. Stepping in front in the high slot, though, is Gavin now. Conway still with the forecheck on. Peduzzi, we saw block a shot earlier that stung him. Good to see him back on the ice. Rink wide pass, can't be corralled there. Ooh, a chance had that pass connected for Conway shorthanded.
Georgia had a shorthanded goal in their last game against Texas. So we'll see if they can do that again. So far, a couple of good chances in previous penalty kills as well as this one.
They do have some firepower out there to finish. Virginia Tech still in control on the man advantage. 48 seconds left. Parente clears it the length of the ice. And Virginia Tech again will have to regroup and try to set back up. Running out of time though, 35 seconds of power play left. Glove down in the neutral zone by Austin Hearn. They'll look cross ice as the Hokies break into the zone. DeVivo drops it off as he loses an edge in the corner. Back up top, shot from Rice, deflects wide. I'm not sure Haugen saw it the whole way through. Good chance there for the Virginia Tech power play, but that might might be the last chance they get as Georgia forces it back to the Hokie zone. Pass to center ice for DeVivo, lost it over toward his own bench, and one more clear, finishes off the man advantage. 0 for 4 now in the power play are the Hokies.
If you're head coach John Kemp for the Ice Dogs, you got to be thrilled that your penalty kill has done so well, but also a little sour that you've put yourself in the position where you've had 4 penalty kills that you've had to do this entire game, especially one here late in the game when getting a goal is so incredibly important.
Icing on Georgia. Face-off will come back down the ice, rather to center ice. And while we have a moment, we'll throw it down to Kendall. Kendall, the ice still looking a little wet.
Yeah, guys, I feel like a meteorologist down here. It's 64 degrees in Charlotte. The ice is certainly slick. Right now, 84% humidity here in Uptown. Right now, that is extremely high. So you would think as it gets later on into the night, the ice would get colder. Not the case right now, guys.
That is a great point, Kendall. I had thought about that. I hadn't mentioned it, though. I'm glad you brought it up. Humidity. North Carolina, even when you get into the fall, still humid, even though you don't feel it as much. And that definitely plays a role as that layer of water from the humidity still kind of sits down on the ice. Virginia Tech pokes it into the Georgia end. On the forecheck here is Jacob Wachtel. Worked around to the near side on the half wall, collected by Ryan Miller. He can't clear. Virginia Tech has done a great job at the blue lines, both their own defensively and offensively. Puck swatted down now by Stewart. Clears it to neutral ice, but again, Virginia Tech there to send it back the other way. Looks like it hit a Georgia player and ricocheted back up ice. And if you're the Ice Dogs, not quite yet, you're still only down 1, but you're going to start feeling the pressure of the clock here shortly, as we've got just over 7.5 minutes to play, and it's still a 3-2 advantage for Virginia Tech. Here's a chance for Garlock in front, off the wall, and a big save made twice by Haugen on that far post. Oh man, 2 10-bellers in Wren. That might be a game saver for Georgia.
Oh my goodness, having a tall goalie can certainly help you. Short goalies are just as good sometimes, but having a goalie who can stretch across like that and stop the puck as it's moving from side to side is something you can't coach, and that's what Haugen was able to do right there, keeping it only a 1-goal game. Such a critical moment.
Yeah, a huge save for the senior out of Minnesota. He's going to have to stand tall on the post there. Seals it off on that far side. Georgia able to come away with a loose puck, and it's lifted up and out. So it's a foot race now. Georgia's going to win that race and negate icing. What a hustle. I believe that was Jordan Sirota who got there first. And now Georgia has a chance to set up. Haugen at the defense. Lost control as he held the zone. Georgia has to check up on the delayed offsides. And now Punzenberger to it. He'll chip and chase. Punzenberger already with a goal tonight. Thrown out in front through the slot. And it gets past Haugen and out into neutral ice. 6:45 to go now. Shots are 26-13 in favor of Virginia Tech. Puck sliding in. It'll be chased down now by Austin Hearn in that far corner. Tulo looking in the middle. His pass popped up in the air. Punzenberger hails it down. He crosses the line onside, but too many orange jerseys for him to handle there. And Virginia Tech back up ice. Hearn again, looking to steer it to the middle. That shut down nicely by Graham Baird. Another chance in front, and a great job by Haugen to come out and stand tall, and now they're getting into it here late in this one.
Things hockey fans love to see, a little bit of fighting there.
You gotta be careful though. You don't want the tempers to get too hot. They're gonna get a couple of penalties, I think one aside, but if you're Austin Hearn there for Virginia Tech, you gotta be careful. We'll see on this replay, it got kind of swung around, so I'm not sure if it was just loose there, but they're swinging around. You've gotta be careful not to take an extra penalty if you accidentally connect.
Yeah, fighting not really allowed in club hockey the same way it is you might see in the NHL, where they drop the gloves and really go after it. One thing, all these guys out there are wearing cages, so can't really land a clean punch either way, but in club, fighting not really allowed like it is.
Well, it'll be Larson for Georgia and Hearn for for Virginia Tech. They will get matching minors for roughing, and we're going to get some exciting hockey here again. 4-on-4, save in tight by Haugen, and he's able to stay out of the way of that chance in front as the Hokies try to bank it off him and in. Georgia clears. It's icing, but this is an icing you'll take because they needed to alleviate some pressure.
Really testing Haugen there. They have gotten that really good chances a few times, that being one of them. And there's, I want to say, a lot of water on the ice right now. It's coming up in puddles as guys skate around, and if you're Georgia, you can't be happy about that because that can hinder your ability to move the puck and skate around. And obviously that affects both teams, but Georgia being the team that needs to get a goal can definitely hurt that possibility.
Kazai protects the puck behind the net, plays it up to the blue line, a one-timer, doesn't find the net on the way through. Kazai again behind the cage, plays it back up top. This time he finds Murphy McLeod, has some trouble with it, but finds Kazai again. Back over the far side, across, and a great defensive play. Gavin now had a wide open net. Virginia Tech continues to work. Now, out in front, bouncing puck, and another great save by Haugen. Oh my goodness, that glove doing overtime in the third.
Wow, he's been phenomenal the past 5 minutes. Right here, backhanding that one. Not really expecting a shot. That's one of the harder things to save is when you're not expecting it. Gotta get that glove on it. Still a whole minute to go. 4-on-4 hockey.
Right now, Virginia Tech is the one taking advantage of the extra space, but some trouble with the ice there, and now we've got a penalty on the Hokies. It'll go against number 22, Max Sullivan, who had some trouble. I think it's a bit of a problem area. We saw McLeod struggle to control the puck down in that same area along the blue line just a minute ago, but a huge chance here. Almost a minute of 4-on-3 and a full 2-minute power play for Georgia, their second of the night.
Yeah, that's massive. 5 minutes to go. If you're Georgia, at this point, you're starting to think about maybe when you're going to pull Isaac Haugen, get that extra skater. Now you have a little bit of time to relax, not have to think about that, as you have the extra skater for at least 2 minutes.
It's going to be an interference penalty that gives Georgia just under a minute of 4-on-3 time. As I said, their second power play of the game. They got lots of space to work with here. Bailey sweeps it across from the top of the umbrella. Haugen sends it back. Top of that far circle. Will be played back up top. Moore back across now. Shot deflects off a stick and high. Good chance there for Bailey. Another chance on the side of the goal. Virginia Tech can't clear. High slot, bouncing puck. Hops the stick of Moore, but he regathers along the wall. Stepping into the circle, played across for Bailey. He'll step into one and hit the glass. We have another delayed penalty coming up on Virginia Tech here, as the power play, or the penalty to Hearn, has come to a close. But it's going to be 5-on-3 now for a minute and 6 seconds.
Well, that's something Coach Mullen talked about before the game, not wanting to give up, was staying out of the penalty box, and they've done a really good job of it so far in this game up until now, only having one penalty prior to this, but now in the most crucial time, 3 guys in the box. Or only 2, but now it's basically the same amount of time we saw in the last.
Shot right off the draw. Haugen stopped by Forrest. But another penalty. That's 3 penalties on Virginia Tech in 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Those matching roughing penalties to Hearn and Larson came with 6:15 left in the period. Off the draw, good hustle play to clear the zone by Cam Kazai. Trying to kill some of this 5-on-3, still 50 seconds. Haugen at the red line, skates it into space and into the zone. Leaves it to the blue line for Bailey near side. Down into the corner for Haugen again. 38 seconds left of 5-on-3. Puck works back up top. Far side blue line, it's Conway with plenty of time and space. He'll look over his options. Walking in high slot has Bailey in the corner. Back out again, Conway. fires off the glass. On the side of the goal, Parente has some trouble with it. Lots of water down there. You can see it skittering off the puck. Another try. They score on the power play, and Georgia ties it. It's Conway.
And I mentioned earlier, when were we going to see this first line for the Ice Dogs step up and get a goal like they've been doing all season? And it took 5-on-3, but they finally got it. Declan Conway, who actually has much more assists, as he has gotten so many of those passes to Ryan Bailey for a shot this time. Getting that pass from Truman Hagen, taking it in for a goal, tying the game up late in the third.
I get another look at it from behind the goal here. Great shot, traffic in front. Not a whole lot you can do if you're Tucker Forrest trying to find that puck. But now if you're Virginia Tech, you still have another minute of the penalty to kill to Brian Rice. And I think Georgia probably smelling some blood here. Rink-wide pass, skate to glove to stick for Moore as he brings it down and carries it into the corner. Back up that far wall, Spencer Watson. Played up top, return to Watson. Tangled up with Moore. He'll now switch places with his defenseman there and Bill Martin. Martin down to Moore, looking to the middle. In the slot, chance doesn't get through, and Virginia Tech clears it with just under 30 seconds left on the power play.
Chance right there in the slot. We know Georgia can play well 5-on-3. Obviously, most teams can. See how now 5-on-5 if they want to take a lead here late in the game. But they also have a lot of overtime experience. 2-3 this season in overtime, but still that experience can come in handy in a game like this.
Georgia running out of time on the power play. Just a couple seconds left. Over on that far side. They'll work it in front. Good job by Virginia Tech to protect the front of the net. We're back to 5-on-5 as that one pinballed through the slot and just wide of the net. Final 2 minutes of play. 3-3 the score. We've already had 2 overtime games here at the 704 Outdoor Faceoff, including last night. As Virginia Tech comes in offside, but this could be our 3rd overtime game if we go minute 50 without one. And another thing to note, and something if you're an Ice Dog fan you might like to hear, the home team has not won a game yet in this 704 Outdoor Faceoff. Coastal lost to Auburn, North Carolina lost to South Carolina, NC State to Alabama, and last night, well, ECU came away with the first win as a home team, so pardon me, but more often than not, it's been the away team that has won in this 704 Outdoor Faceoff. Down below the goal line, it's Jackson DeVivo. Under some pressure, has some help there from Valiant. Worked up the wall now, Bailey lifts it out of the zone. Breakout pass intended for Parente. He's unable to settle the hopping puck. Virginia Tech moves it back up ice. Heavy hit by Conway. Virginia Tech hoping for a penalty, didn't get it. 1:15 left. Traffic jam in front of the net, but Virginia Tech unable to find a shot, and they'll have to retreat for it. Lagas mishandles the puck under some pressure there from Ryan Bailey. We're down to the final 60 seconds. Parente deflects it into the zone. Virginia Tech can control at the defense. Played off the wall. Haugen has it for the Ice Dogs. Chips it forward. Parente trying to settle it down. He ends up kicking it right to Austin Hearn, and Virginia Tech moves up. Shot wide by Hearn. Loose behind the net. Ice Dogs are both there. We got some players tangled up in front of the Georgia net. The Hokie fans wanted a penalty as Hearn was pinned to the ice. But the officials are going to let things play out here in the final minute. Shot from the high slot, deflects high over the goal. We're seeing these two teams really get into it here late, Brent.
There's been a few aggressive plays, as you see on your screen right there.
I think if you're the Hokies too, with the few penalties you've had called recently on you, the penalty numbers I believe are 3-2 this period in favor of Georgia from a favorable standpoint. 3 penalties on Virginia Tech, and of course, with the nature of them, I think you'd hope if you're the Hokies to get an extra one. but not late in this game. Maybe one chance left. Peduzzi fires just wide from point-blank range. Virginia Tech still with control. Oh, it's deflected just wide, and again Peduzzi with a chance as the clock runs out. And for the second consecutive night here at Truist Field, we're going to get some extra hockey.
Well, 3 of the 5 games now have gone to overtime in the 704 outdoor face-off. I don't know what that says about playing outdoors, playing in a big environment like this, but certainly exciting to see.
Well, it'll be interesting to see here the officials coming over to talk with, I believe, someone from the Knights ice crew here, and I think they might try and give the ice a scrape here and dry it up, because it has, as Kendall was talking about with the humidity where it is right now, the ice is not drying up at all. And you could see it before Georgia scored that last goal, and it's hard to say exactly how much it's impacting play because, well, you can see the water moving as players skate through it and the puck glides through it. The puck's still gliding, and a lot of times if there's too much water, it'll get stuck, and we haven't quite hit that issue at this point.
Yeah, I certainly would not be opposed to them coming in, evening this thing out. I doubt the players would be either, as it's super tough to skate through basically a puddle and try and get a goal off. And 3-on-3, you're seeing a lot more chances to move the puck around and get shots off.
Oh, yeah, and they are going to bring the Zambonis out to scrape some of the extra water off the surface again. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a look down at ice level at the conditions so far, and we'll get you ready for overtime between Virginia Tech and Georgia.
Hey everybody, I'm out here at our ice rink at Truist Field, but I want to remind you that this rink won't be here in just a few months. It'll be time for baseball season. The Charlotte Knights season is quickly approaching, and tickets are going on sale soon. Tickets will be on sale soon for our opening night, Friday, March 27th. The Charlotte Knights taking on the Durham Bulls, and for the rest of the season. So head over to charlotteknights.com. Stay on the lookout over there. We can't wait to welcome you all back to the ballpark.
Everyone has a community, a neighborhood, school, kids' teams, where you worship, work out, or any other place or group where you choose to belong. Communities can provide support when you need it, and even when you don't know you do. Like when it comes to preventing underage drinking and other substance use. Community members can be your eyes and ears when you're not with your kids and alert you to signs of potential problems. Learn more at talktheyhearyu.samhsa.gov.
When you look at me, you might see
a person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
You'll see
A warrior mom.
an endurance athlete.
someone with a lot of fight.
every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit
Is
unshakable.
Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
For each life moment, your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. Your kids may be eligible now, even if you've applied before. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Get started now at insurekidsnow.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
You want to talk about blood cancer? Definitely not. What the?
For blood cancer to go away, a blood stem cell transplant is the way. Uniting for patients every day. What does that mean anyway? It means new members on the registry. And it's the matching donors to patients with blood disease. T's for doctors making discoveries. P is for patients living cancer-free.
Welcome back to Truist Field. The ice crew working double time to get things ready for this overtime period. Well, and down at ice level, I think I saw Kendall Smith in the middle of that conversation when they were talking about ice conditions. So we'll throw it down to Kendall. What's it looking like right now?
Yeah, so I was speaking with the ice crew down here, and they told me that they're going to go through twice with the Zams and then do a dry cut down here. So as we've been talking about all game, just really soupy conditions with the ice, and I think they want to make sure it's as in the best condition possible for when they start this overtime period. So a lot of credit to the ice crew. They've been putting in the work down here, guys, and just trying to make sure that these guys are able to have the best chance they can when this OT period starts in 3-on-3 hockey.
Awesome. Thank you, Kendall. And I give you to kind of build off the soupy conditions. One thing to look at as I look at the shots on goal through these 3 periods, it was 13-6 Hokies in the first, 9-6 Hokies in the second. It was 8-2 Hokies in the third. So significantly fewer shots, 19 in the first, 15 in the second, 10 in the third. So I think as the ice has gotten soggier, we've seen things kind of slow down as well.
Yeah, only 2 shots for the Ice Dogs in that third period, which is ridiculous to think about. And all those shots total up to 30 for Virginia Tech, 14 for the Ice Dogs. So Virginia Tech has over doubled the shot total for Georgia in this game. Like you mentioned, those soupy conditions on the ice slowing down the puck tremendously. You could see a couple of passes that as it was coming to the player intended, just sort of lost momentum a little bit and had to be tracked down to get the puck.
Yeah, the other thing that'll be interesting, I think this period, as I've watched the Zambonis go over, obviously they go back and forth the one ways of the ice. What that's kind of creating is some little channels where water just presses off the side and it leaves you these little lanes of extra water. I think it's going to behoove these teams to find one of those dry stretches and just head straight up ice if you can and try to avoid the water if possible.
And this is one of those things that, you know, Coach Camp and Coach Mullen can work out systems and do practice all they want, but you cannot prepare for something like this where, like you were mentioning, lanes of dry ice. How do you prepare for that in practice? You can't. So we'll just have to see which team can capitalize on that, and hopefully the ice is a little fresher than it was a few minutes ago.
Yeah, well, one of the things that came up when we talked with Coach Cam of the Ice Dogs earlier in the week was outdoor experience and kind of experience with, we'll call it wild card conditions on the ice. And it came up, you know, Georgia used to play 5 or 6 games a year in a parking deck where that was half covered, half not, had to deal with the elements. So you wonder if some of that experience, not as many players on the team that necessarily experience that, but from a coaching staff standpoint, you wonder if dealing with some kind of hairy conditions might advantage or lean towards the Georgia Ice Dogs when it comes to who's got the advantage this period. But looks like we're just about set to go. It'll be 5 minutes of 3-on-3 followed by a shootout if necessary. Now, if there is a penalty in the final 2 minutes of this overtime period and we go to a shootout, any player in the penalty box at the end of overtime is not eligible for the shootout. We have yet to get to that point here at Truist Field. The 2 overtime games both ended relatively quickly in overtime. It was a little over a minute before South Carolina finished off North Carolina last Friday. And then last night, of course, it was an overtime winner for ECU. That came a minute and 24 seconds into the extra time. It'll be 3-on-3 hockey. We've seen 4-on-4 hockey, 4-on-3 hockey, 5-on-3 hockey. Now we'll see some 3-on-3 hockey, and Virginia Tech controls the face-off. It'll be collected by Jackson Lagas behind. Boy, almost turned it over in the slot as he lost it edge. And Virginia Tech will have to track it down. Peduzzi and Kazai out there with Lagas. It's Conway, Parente, and Haugen, the 3 out there for Georgia. Long pass up ice, chip to the middle now. Kazai backhand, and a save made in net by Isaac Haugen. His brother Truman will carry it up ice. Left off for Conway. Looking across, he hits Kazai with the pass, and Kazai clears it past the defenseman and more. Georgia will get back control. 45 seconds gone. Ward already has 1 goal. That came with less than 5 seconds left in the first period. He'd love another to finish things off. His pass, though, intercepted, and now Virginia Tech has their chance. Gavin now circles and finds space. He'll pick up speed through neutral ice. Skates past the defenseman, but a good stick there from Bill Martin to knock it loose. Hokies still have control, and they'll get set up. Now, sweeps it around the wall. That's going to turn the puck over, though. Ryan Bailey in possession. He'll hand it off now for Martin. And they can't connect on the breakout pass. Hokies take over, but it's quickly given back to Moore and the Ice Dogs. Forward now for Bailey. He absorbs a hit, chases the puck down in that far corner, has a man in front, but no passing lane. Now Georgia gets patient. Bailey just going to throw it rink wide off the wall, but the foot race is won by Gavin now. He'll skate forward, has some help coming in a little bit late. Now the shot, and that one ends up wide of the goal. Ricochets out for Bailey to pick up. He needs some help. There's a puddle on the ice. The puck got stuck in it, and it's turned over to the Hokies.
Georgia's transition defense has been so good all game. That's one thing that might help them in this overtime, which we've already seen. And for Virginia Tech, face-offs have been a huge part of their game.
Another save there from Haugen. You can feel the tension. Down to 2:40 left in overtime of a 3-3 hockey game. Virginia Tech led 2-0 and 3-2. Georgia has come back both times. Speed through neutral ice this time for Sirota. And he comes, he scores! He puts it short side on Forrest, and the Ice Dogs win it in overtime.
Jordan Sirota, an unlikely hero for Georgia this game. He's done really well all season and is certainly the quickest skater on the ice for the Ice Dogs. And right there you saw his speed getting past the defender. Had a low angle shot, but able to get it over the shoulder of Forrest and sends a win for the Dogs as they head back to Athens.
Well, that's a tough one if you're Tucker Forrest. There was a lot of speed coming down that right wing from Sirota, but we've seen some impressive comebacks in these games here outdoors, and it's tough with the ice being a little bit wet, but I do wonder if Georgia maybe a tad more experience in some hairy ice conditions than Virginia Tech, maybe that led to a little bit of an advantage late in the game.
Yeah, well, some of the older guys remember playing at the Pavilion. Jordan Sirota, a rookie and a freshman on this team, not one of them, but either way, still able to use his speed, and maybe in those murky conditions, was just able to get around using his skills. Makes it 4-3 in overtime, and the conditioning also is one thing to factor. As we mentioned, Georgia has a lot more experience in overtime, and playing past the 60-minute mark is tough to do if you've never done it before, and in a big moment like this, an outdoor arena.
And the two teams, we've seen this with both, with all the games so far. The teams are going to get together and kind of savor the moment. And speaking of savoring the moment, the game-winning goal scorer in Jordan Sirota is down there at center ice with Kendall Smith. So we'll throw it down to Kendall with the game winner.
He's a freshman, and you make it happen in a moment like that. Overtime, score game winner. What did you see on that game-winning goal?
Zach Knoll, he said he wanted me to come back and get it. Wheel it up the ice. You know, I saw a defender cut in, cut out, just put it on net.
Your team is obviously loving this, a comeback win for your group, and it's not easy to play out here when it's 70 degrees on outdoor ice. How did you make it happen tonight?
A lot of water. There you go, a lot of water.
A lot of water and lots to celebrate. How do you celebrate a win like this, Jordan?
I don't know, actually, we'll see. Maybe a little nap, I'm a little tired.
I bet you are. Congratulations on the win. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Nice, back to you.
Thank you, Kendall. What a finish to another thrilling game here at the 704 Outdoor Face-Off. Jordan Sirota caps it off in overtime with the winner, and it is a 4-3 victory for the Georgia Ice Dogs over the Virginia Tech Hokies. We'll wrap things up when we come back here at Truist Field.
Hey everybody, I'm out here at our ice rink at Truist Field, but I want to remind you that this rink won't be here in just a few months. It'll be time for baseball season. The Charlotte Knights season is quickly approaching and tickets are going on sale soon. Tickets will be on sale soon for our opening night, Friday, March 27th. The Charlotte Knights taking on the Durham Bulls and for the rest of the season. So head over to charlotteknights.com. Stay on the lookout over there. We can't wait to welcome you all back to the ballpark.
Yet another fantastic finish here at the 704 Outdoor Face-Off as the Georgia Ice Dogs, thanks to Jordan Sirota, come away with a 4-3 overtime win over the Virginia Tech Hokies. Chris Lehman back alongside Ren Grimsley for Georgia. And Ren, this was a heck of a game. We've seen a lot of great games here outdoors.
Yeah, and got to give credit to this Virginia Tech team. They dominated for a lot of this game, and it was really only a few moments where Georgia was able to capitalize on a couple of transitions here and there. Saw that breakaway from Evan Moore, which got the scoring going for the Ice Dogs. But either way, great performance out there from Coach Mullen and the Hokies.
Yeah, and with that win, Georgia now 11-3-3. That's a really strong record in the first half of the season.
Well, now on an 11-game point streak.
Also,
as you mentioned, double digits, and just overall doing wonderfully considering they started out rough, went 1-4 with 1 win and 4 losses. So coming back and doing really, really well. Now they're get a little bit of a break here for Christmas, and we'll see what they do in January.
Well, they'll have some time tonight and for a few months, or a couple months almost, to enjoy this win here at a special setting. We have one more game coming up tomorrow night, wrapping up the 704 Outdoor Face-Off as Charlotte and App State square off once again. But for Kendall Smith and Kyle Bean, as well as my partner here in Ren Grimsley, we thank you for joining us here on ESPN Plus tonight. We should have another great one tomorrow, but tonight it was Georgia 4-3 in overtime over Virginia Tech.